Oh, yeah. Good morning, everybody. Welcome in. Ben and Woods, 97.3 The Fan. What a great, great treat and pleasure it is to be here with all of you in America's finest city. And yesterday was truly America's finest city at its finest. Beautiful, beautiful day. Feeling a little bit warmer when I walk out to my car in the morning. It's really you can feel the page turning a little bit right now. We are Ben and Woods, and we really appreciate you guys making us your show of choice every single morning. And just can't thank you enough for it. Can't do what we do without you guys. I'm Woodsy. That's Paul Reindl. He's the executive producer of the program. Good morning, Paulie.
Hey, how are you?
Doing great, my friend. And Benjamin Higgins, your friendly neighborhood sports anchor, joins us as well. Benjamin, how are you?
I'm good because, yes, spring is in the air, Woods.
It has sprung real good.
It's a little early. It's still technically winter.
Yeah.
But spring training is underway.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it's getting a little nicer outside. Not that we have the harshest of winters here in San Diego.
I don't know, man. If you live in my home, my wife is cold all the time. And then I'm actually, the older I get, I'm like cold and chilly all the time. And so walking around the house, she sleeps in a full robe now. So, when you're a kid, 18, 19, 20, 21, you have visions of what, your life is going to be like. And you, of course, picture your wife strolling to bed in, some sexy lingerie, or as a guy that I met one time called it, lingerie. It's one of my favorite. Man, I'm going to get home. Wife's going to have some sexy-ass lingerie on. One of the best. I've never forgotten. If you want to hear the story, I actually met him in jail. So he was a guy that I did a little bit of time with. Yeah. And he would tell me, as we'd be washing dishes, man, when I get home, I'm going to put something on the grill. Baby's going to come out in some sexy-ass lingerie. And I was like, did you just say lingerie? Because that's what I'm going to call it for the rest of my life.
I mean, it is spelled linger.
It is.
I-E,
It's
guess
spelled lingerie.
Does make a lot of sense.
Have I told you that? Maybe have I told you that before?
I think off the air I've heard that story. But
get some sexy-ass lingerie. It's my favorite. It is my number one favorite thing.
That and Guru.
Yeah, Guru. He's a Guru. So you picture, I'm laying in bed, and here comes my wife in some sexy lingerie, and she climbs into bed with me. My wife is in full sweatpants, full sweatshirt, and now a full robe tied around her waist. It's like basically like Fort Knox sleeping next. I roll over in the middle of the night. I'm like, what is all this padding? Like, what is happening? Yeah, like a Yeti. I'm like, we're not at base camp at Everest. Like, why are you dressed so it's all thick. And you can't even reach over in the middle of the night and, grab something maybe you want to grab because it's just all covered with robes. And
you got a problem.
Yeah, I do have a problem. My wife wears way too many clothes when she sleeps. Then she sweats through the night. So it's really interesting. But no, they're not the harshest of winters, certainly. But I don't know, man. My house is numb. It's like numbingly cold. My hands are cold all the time. I always feel like I'm like, am I gonna die? Am I about to have a heart attack because I can't feel my hands? Like, I think you lose feeling in your hands or something. So I'm constantly walking around the house doing the blowing on my hands. I got slippers on. It's really
it's kind of age when you've slept on your left arm and it falls asleep, and then you wake up and
you're like, I'm dead. No, I'm dying.
This
is it.
Is this the heart attack?
Here it comes.
Did I just sleep on my arm?
It's here it comes, dude. It happens all the time. I'll get a slight pain. And I'm like, oh no, it's in my chest, and I'm like,
probably just a little gas.
I'm like, oh god. It is. I'm telling you, man, it is. It's not fun getting older. But I had a great convo this morning. I drive in early, and my parents 2 hours ahead, in the Tyler, Texas area. And as you guys know, I've talked about it on the air. My mom has breast cancer, and has fought tooth and nail, and is. I talked to her this morning. On the drive in, and man, she sounded like my mom used to sound. She's full of energy. Awesome. She started some new medication. Things are going really well. So I think they're probably watching this morning. Oh, actually, no, I think both of them are at Jazzercise, which is
very
fantastic. They
80s
have
of
a
them.
very 80s. Well, based on where they live out at Hideaway Lake, Texas, Ben, I think Jazzercise actually just got there.
They'll be very excited when Zumba gets there in about 4 years.
As you know, my dad still has a VCR and all the tapes. I've told you the story of the tapes before. But I talked to my mom this morning, and she sounded just spectacular and is feeling so much better. And again, on her way to exercise, and it was quite a load off, man. Because the last time they were here, they actually had to leave early because she wasn't feeling well, missed Thanksgiving. So I was a little worried. They're going to be out there. They're going to be out here next week. So we'll be driving in from spring training. They'll already be here. And I think we're going to play golf with my dad, Benny, if you can, early on Saturday. And then they're leaving Sunday. But so nice to talk to both of them this morning. And she's doing much, much better. So thank you for all your kind words and kind thoughts. It's such a load off. It really is. It's such a load off because you do, when you do get older, I'm like, everything you feel, you're like, this is it. This is it. This is you get like this sharp pain in like your ankle. You'll just be walking and you're like, that's bone cancer. I know it. And it's starting at my feet and it's going to move up my legs.
At the best, it's arthritis.
At the best, it's arthritis, possible amputation. I can't feel my toes. Like it's just terrible. It's a terrible feeling.
Hypochondria setting in.
That's what it is. That's exactly what it is. Listen, we are so excited about today's show. I know Benny usually sets the menu.
You can go ahead and do a little extra early menu setting for today's special guest.
It's a special day because one of our favorite people, number one, in this city and probably on this planet, and I think it's universally agreed upon by us, is Don Orsillo. And Don Orsillo is a bit of a mystery man. Now, we've been on the air 7 years, and we've had Don on the actual radio, I want to say once, with a pre-taped interview the day before for the second time. Well, and then at spring training. So as far as a call-in interview, I want to say it's one time, if I'm not mistaken.
Close.
Paul, you were out of town, Ben, when Vacation Ben was a thing.
I love Ben and Woods. I said it. I said it out loud.
Yeah. And Paulie and I, we had to carry remember that year we had to basically carry the show by ourselves?
Oh, yeah.
Remember that?
Oh, yeah.
We went down to Petco, and we sat with Don for like an hour. And we recorded an interview. Now, it was at Petco. It sounded like ass.
In his office.
In his office.
Like,
it sounded terrible.
Recording on an iPhone.
Yeah, it was so bad. We played it the next day. We were like looking at each other going,
we're like, it's on Orsillo, though.
Then we saw him at spring training and like full on, like with the cane, yanked him over to the seat to force him to sit down. And so he's just been very elusive. In fact, strangely enough, once Paulie put the tweet out last night, I got a text from our old pal, Darren Smith, 9:03 p.m. Why is it so hard to get Don on the radio?
Unbelievable!
And I said, honestly, I think he sleeps in. He goes, typical baseball guy. He goes, he was never available in afternoons either. He goes, maybe it was just us. And I said, bro, it's not. We've had him on the air maybe once. One time he was taped, and the other time was at spring training. He said, he's a mystery. He said his food photos always make me laugh. And I said, man, he's the best. We're very excited to have Don on.
I think it's a bit of a strategy because Don likes to keep some of that air of mystery. And we've heard the sleep in excuse. He's a fisherman. Is he the only fisherman in the world who sleeps in?
That's a good point.
Fishermen get up earlier than anybody.
Notoriously, they're like, yeah, pulling out tomorrow at 2:30 a.m. and we'll have cork in the water by 3, right?
So you want to come with you? Meet me at my house, 1:45.
Man, so obviously, if you missed the news, Don Orsillo's signed to a long-term extension. That's all we got. Like, it sounded, though, and I think Kevin Acee was the one that worded it this way, that Don Orsillo will finish his broadcasting career in San Diego. And I think when I saw it, it made me so happy. And I said, Don's been broadcasting games here. And, since my son has been born, the voices that he's heard have really all been the same. And it will be that way for a long time. And that made me really happy because not only is he a wonderful human being, he's a fantastic broadcaster and makes even the worst games, the worst seasons tolerable. So we got Don Orsillo today.
Soundtrack of the summer.
Soundtrack of the summer. I'm so happy he's coming on. Today is a momentous day in the Ben and Woods history, right? If you want to look back at the history of this show, today is also Manny Machado's signing day. This is the day that he signed his contract with the San Diego Padres. And
7 years ago?
6.
6 years ago.
6 years ago, right, Paulie? Is that what you said 6 years ago today?
Yeah.
Right, 6 years ago.
February 19th, 2019.
So it's the show that put our show on the map. That was the day that put our show, the Ben and Woods program. We'd been at it for a little bit, and, we'd done okay, but that was the day that really, when Manny signed, it happened late in the program. We stayed on the air. We blew out Jim Rome. We stayed on the air. We took phone calls, and people started to take notice of this program. It's one of the reasons. I love the man as a baseball player. I love the man as a human being. But honestly, part of the reason I love Manny Machado so much is that when he signed here, it helped our show tenfold. The buzz about our show came that day. We were looking for something to kind of put us on the map, and that's the show that did it.
No, we didn't break the news.
No, we didn't break the news.
But we were here to talk about it. And what it really did was we were already baseball people, but San Diego wasn't really a baseball town, at least not in the way it is now, until Manny Machado signed. And that got people excited about Padres baseball.
Yeah.
And then they were going, well, who talks Padres baseball in town? Well, that would be Ben and Woods.
Yeah. I mean, literally against the advice of every higher up at our old...
No kidding.
Not only the higher ups. I mean, I would even say other hosts on the station were like, you guys spend too much time talking about baseball. And I just said, this is what we're going to do. This is what we have. And that's what we're going to do. And man, it sure has worked out for us. And obviously the tier ones, have helped this thing along so much over the last few years.
Roberto in our chat, my first Ben and Woods show was that day.
Incredible. Here
we are.
I've always felt that was the day that took this show and went, and we just went to the moon. And, it was obviously a huge part. Huge part was played by Manny Machado in that.
All right, Don Orsillo, though, 8:35 this morning is when we're scheduled to talk to him. We'll set the rest of the menu coming up. We also have some early tickets to give away, I promise. AEW Dynamite at Front Wave Arena coming up as well. First, though, you were talking about getting old, the hazards of getting older.
Yes.
One of those things is that you have to think about is, well, you're not going to be here forever. And what do you want to leave to your family? If you haven't put it down on paper, there's an easy way to do it thanks to trustandwill.com. You can set up a will or a trust to help take care of your family and save them a lot of hassle, a lot of time, and potentially even a lot of money with a trust to avoid expensive and long probate processes in court after you pass away.
You got to get the trust, guys. Families pay over $2 billion with a B annually in probate fees. Most of this is avoidable with proper planning. So check out trustandwill.com, just like Ben and I did over the holidays. Go to trustandwill.com. You'll get 10% off plus free shipping of your estate plans by going to trustandwill.com. You fill it all out. Takes about 20, 30 minutes max. Use the code San Diego at checkout. All one word, San Diego.
No lawyer to go talk to. You don't have to go to someone's office or anything. All from the comfort of home. Very easy, online, question and answer. They'll send you those documents. Really, the peace of mind that you get it is worth the very small fee that they do charge for this service. So go to trustandwill.com, use that code, San Diego, all one word, get 10% off the free document shipping at trustandwill.com. That's trustandwill.com, and we'll be back after Kelly's first check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan. So that was weird.
I don't know what that was.
Yeah. You guys got to all see us during our little
break?
commercial break.
Just
there.
shooting the breeze in here?
Because on ours, it looked like Polly was playing the usual, clips that go in between when we're not on the air. But then Polly said, well, look up at the screen. You guys, we're watching you right now.
They were watching us in commercial break. And they're like, there's no audio. There's no audio. If we don't have our headphones on, we're not on the air, just so you know. I'm staring at the TV. I'm staring at the screen, and you're seeing my mouth move.
The cameras are still here, but that was weird. So
that is weird.
Was I picking my nose or something?
No, I don't think we did anything untoward. So I think
try not to. I try not to do that.
You left your pants on.
Try not to do that until break, at least.
You weren't doing your mid-break self-seduction that you usually do on commercial break, so we're good.
All right. Well, welcome back.
It's good to be back.
And you're still here if you were on our YouTube stream. Again, as Wood said, appreciate any way you consume the content of this program. And we have a good one coming up for you today. I already told you about our very special guest, Don Orsillo. Got his new contract extension, at least through the end of the decade, but with the idea that he's not going anywhere for the rest of his broadcasting career, however long that may be.
Let's ask him. I'm going to ask him today. What's that look like?
Pin him down.
100%.
Now there's.
I need a number.
Now just one thing left to take care of. Mud Grant.
100%.
Once we get rid of him, everything will be perfect.
Then, I mean, we got to make sure Jesse and Tony are locked. I don't like a lot of change here. I don't. I like to know what I'm getting into on the radio and what I'm getting into on television.
We will also have Spring Training Sammy on later in the program with updates. He's been very busy every single day, posting fantastic content as he covers Padres Spring Training for us here at 97.3 The Fan. Coming up in our next segment, though, we'll go back to yesterday's very end of the show. We were starting to get some of the press conference with Erik Greupner, the CEO of the San Diego Padres, and there was definitely some interesting statements, some I would say promises made by the CEO of the San Diego Padres.
Kind of on the record, essentially.
Yeah,
you know,
not hints, not what are we gleaning out of the Padres' inactivity in the offseason, but actual statements that you can pin to him and the organization, and chance to hold their feet to the fire in the future. But mostly liked what I had to hear from Erik Greupner yesterday, so we can discuss a little bit of what was going on there. We will also talk about the San Diego State game last night. If you did not stay up late, it was a nice, comfortable, easy victory over Fresno State last night. 23-point margin, 20-point lead at halftime. Never really in doubt. The Aztecs played really solid basketball all throughout. Have they turned a corner? We can talk about that, but the last 5 halves of basketball for San Diego State. Ever since they fell behind a week ago Tuesday at San Jose State at halftime and were down 17, and then came out in the second half, they won that game, played really well against Boise State on Saturday, and again last night against Fresno State.
Yep.
If they've turned a corner, then this should be an NCAA tournament team, and one that might even be able to win a game or two once it gets there.
Well, if you did turn a corner, in fact, you picked a hell of a time to do it.
That's true.
You picked a hell of a time to do it. This is exactly what you would have wanted. Hit a couple little roadblocks there, little speed bumps, but now playing some really good basketball. And I realized last night's opponent, not good. They're not a good team by any stretch of the imagination, but you did what you had to do against a team like that, which, by the way, you couldn't say that about the Aztecs 6 weeks ago.
No.
You couldn't.
They needed a last-second layup to beat Air Force, who's behind even Fresno State in the conference. The only team Fresno State has beaten, and you barely got past them. But no problem with the Bulldogs last night.
Yeah, basically like the Padres going out and beating the Rockies 14-0. That's what you want. Yeah. It never happens, but that's exactly what you want.
We will also hear a little bit from the commissioner of Major League Baseball. He was in Peoria, or not Peoria, but he was in Arizona yesterday for the MLB Spring Training Media Day and had some comments about the San Diego Padres, about the Los Angeles Dodgers, about the automatic ball and strike system that's going to be tested out during spring training as well.
Starts
this week.
This week, yeah.
Every Padres home game, at least, every game played in Peoria will feature the challenge system, which I think is going to be probably the most interesting thing about spring training.
I can't wait to see it.
I cannot wait fascinated to see. I mean, it won't be implemented for Major League Baseball this season, but it's going to be at AAA all year, and it could be coming as soon as 2026.
I can't wait.
This is your little sneak preview of the challenge system for balls and strikes. And it's, by the way, and we'll talk about this, but it's going to drive you crazy when your players get it wrong.
Oh, yeah, it's going to make you nuts.
You're going to have your guys that are like, oh, dialed in. He never gets one wrong. He always knows. And then you're going to have the guy who's too aggressive and wastes your challenges, and then you lose them, and you absolutely are going to climb a wall when you're watching baseball games.
I'm racking my brain as to who it's going to be, and you may be surprised by my answer. It's going to be Luis Ariz, who swings at all sorts of different pitches everywhere. So I know he has a good command of the strikes. I know he's a great hitter. I mean, the guy's a perennial 300-plus hitter. But he also swings at balls a foot off the plate and sometimes gets knocks on them. So I feel like it's going to be Luis Ariz as the one where you're like, bro, come on. We don't. These aren't unlimited. We don't have as many of these as we need. I feel like he's going to be my guy to watch. If Jerks and Profar was still here, I feel like it would have been him. He's not. He's a Brave. Maybe he's going to do it for them. But I'm racking my brain when you said it. Who's going to be the guy that is like 1 for 38 in these challenges? And then we'll ask Schilt about it on Friday, and then he'll get mad at us for asking him. Hey, he did get that one right. I know he missed 37 in a
And,
row.
you know, it's
but you see
also-
that one he did call?
It's also going to be on the managers to kind of set the
Yes,
strategy. Like,
100%.
hey, guys, let's not use these too early in the game. We don't want to lose them. We want to keep them for later in the game, especially if it's only two that you get.
Because at the end of the day, yes, they're big leaguers. They're also like little leaguers,
Yes.
too, okay? So don't get it twisted, dude.
I mean, everyone's going to I just struck out in the first inning. I could undo this
I
just
can
by
undo it.
tapping my head. But if you're wrong and you cost your team a challenge in the first inning, it's going to drive everybody
It's going to make you
bonkers.
insane.
I love this already.
The more
actually.
you start talking about it, the more I'm starting to hate it. I hate it. I hate it now.
So we'll talk about that. We got our regular features. Don't do this. Take on Woods. We've got our Reindl Report. All coming up on the show today. But right now, let's give away some tickets. I wanted to do it early in the show yesterday. I forgot, so I want to give an opportunity for our Tier 1s to win tickets to AEW Dynamite at Front Wave Arena on February 26th. Tickets are on sale now at AEWTIX.com, but you can win them by being the fourth caller right now at 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Good luck if you want to claim those tickets right now to AEW Dynamite. All right, we'll come back and hear the on-the-record comments from the CEO of the Padres about new ownership, new control person, payroll levels, and much more from Erik Greupner when we come back here on Ben and Woods.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. GEGE 000-466.
First, though, Woods and I'd love to tell you about 7 Mile Casino. I know you've heard us talking about it before. 6:31, it is Wednesday morning, and guess what? 7 Mile Casino is open right now. If you've got a weird work shift, you know, a lot of people that listen to us are actually getting off of work because they work the overnight graveyard shift. They're heading home. Maybe they don't want to go to bed right now, though. They've got, a couple hours of energy left. It's a great place to go at all hours to play fantastic cards, Texas Hold'em, California-style blackjack, Pai Gow, Baccarat, and they have a 24/7 players menu at Sammy's, so you can even get something great to eat right now, whatever you're feeling like at 7 Mile Casino.
A lot to love about 7 Mile Casino. It is a smoke-free environment. It is an environment for card players. You're not going to find, slots and things like that in there ringing and rattling in your ears and your brain. You go in, you sit down, you play some California-style blackjack. You'll be so happy that you did. And the best part, guys, it's just 7 minutes from downtown. So make it a priority in 2025. Get down to 7 Mile Casino. It's just 7 minutes from downtown.
See, Tier 1 Mel is on his way to spring training. He's in Yuma. Oh, no, he's coming back from spring training and is in Yuma on his way back. Early drive for Mel.
Is Mel a guy or a girl?
Mel is guy.
Melomel.
Mel, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah.
How do you know?
Mel was the one who helped me with my junk removal. It's great. Fantastic.
There you go.
Junk removal services and more.
He actually holds all the secrets.
Oh, yeah. He knows all the junk, yeah, that I've got in my house. Yeah.
The dirty details.
Yeah. He may have kept it. Who knows?
Sorry, Mel.
Well, anyone who was in spring training yesterday may have seen the Padres CEO, Erik Greupner, who spoke near the end of our program with what has become kind of an annual tradition. I don't think it's mandated by Major League Baseball, but the Padres have generally, on the first day of full squad workouts, had the control person, the owner of the team. It was Ron Fowler, and then it was Peter Seidler, and then last year it was Erik Greupner with Eric Kitsenda, the interim control person who did a kind of a state of the Padres Q&A session with the media in Arizona to address the big picture issues of the team and connect with fans. And, not something that they do regularly, but the once a year you could kind of count on that. And we were wondering, well, what's going to happen this year with the uncertainty, with the lawsuit, with John Seidler being named control person and being approved but not officially taking over. What was that going to look like? And yesterday, Erik Greupner just went by himself to represent the San Diego Padres. And, he's the CEO, so he obviously knows what's going on. And, spoke publicly about some of the issues that fans have been wondering about, including, now that Peter Seidler is gone and they're moving on to a new control person, will the team continue to pour the resources into the player payroll necessary to try to win a World Series? And this is what Greupner said early in his comments.
Say that they've been given the resources they need, and obviously the payroll is high. You've signed some guys for low dollars recently, but can you speak to that, of how the challenge of giving them the resources they need, given all the salaries that went up?
Yeah, our payroll has gone up significantly year over year. And we have been pursuing a long-term plan that was set several years ago, and we're continuing to execute against that plan. And we're exactly where we had expected to be from a payroll perspective going into this year. And we feel like we're at a level, likely end up being a top 10 payroll in baseball that is sufficient from a resource perspective to go out and win a World Series championship. And that's a commitment that we've made for several years now to our fan base, is that we would consistently put a team on the field that could compete for the playoffs and a World Series championship. I know that was important to Peter and remains important to us as an organization, that we put a team on the field year in and year out that can compete for a World Series championship. So to your point, I feel like we have the resources, the level of payroll, the veteran leadership, and a lot of great young players that are contributing early in their career. And I think we have a team, like you saw last year, that's capable of going out and accomplishing our goal.
No offense to you, but usually there's someone standing next to you. When might we hear from him?
Yeah, so John Seidler was approved by Major League Baseball as our next control person, and will become the chairman after the passage, as it's been reported by you and others, of a 30-day period. So you'll hear from him and have an opportunity to ask him questions, get to know him better before opening day. Once that 30-day period is passed, that'll be early to mid-March. And we're incredibly excited to have John step into that position. He's been part of the ownership group since 2012. I've known him for 13 years. I've spent a lot of time with him at Padres games and in Padres ownership meetings. And he's got a love for San Diego. He's got a love for this franchise and a love for baseball. And he's excited to step into that role and continue what his brother Peter was leading for so many years for the ownership group that he's a part of, and ultimately deliver that World Series championship to San Diego.
All right, that's a tangible promise. We'll hear from John Seidler before opening day, so I know there's some curiosity about that, and I can be patient and wait a couple of weeks.
Sure,
that's fine.
waited this long, right?
The other promise I heard in there was one that the team has been saying for years, that they are committed to putting a roster on the field that is capable of winning a World Series.
It's I can't say that I disagree. I can't say that I don't believe him because I think that they have put, for the most part, Benny, I think they have put their money where their mouth is.
Well, last year absolutely was capable. They didn't do it.
No question.
2023 absolutely was capable. They didn't do it. This year I look at the roster and I think, I think that's at least in a normal season, capable if things come together and players play well, capable of getting to the playoffs and then, maybe winning the World Series.
I mean, I'd say they're one of, let's be honest, right? Like if you looked at the 30 teams in Major League Baseball, how many would you really say are capable of winning a World Series?
Well, that's the question.
12?
One, maybe. One.
That's on paper, one.
That's the one thing that has changed the whole equation. And I can't hold the Padres to that standard. If you think that only one team is capable of winning the World Series, then you say, well, then Erik Greupner's being disingenuous because he's not putting a team capable of matching up against the Dodgers on the field.
Right.
But no other team in baseball is either at this point. The Mets are spending kind of close to $70 million less than the Dodgers, and even their owner, Steve Cohen, who is richer than just about anybody in the world, was saying yesterday, I don't want to spend this much. This is kind of crazy.
He also came out yesterday and said he wants Met fans to pack the place and that he was really disappointed in attendance last year. I saw that. I don't know if this is true. Did the Rockies outdraw the Mets last year? Is that a true statement? I swear to God, I saw somebody tweet.
I can't. Really?
I swear to God, somebody tweeted it.
That. I don't know.
Somebody tweeted it. I said that can't be. Now, obviously, a lot more affordable to go to a Rockies game than a Mets game. And
hang on.
Paulie
can look it
pull
up.
up the numbers.
I mean, like the average or the total fans throughout the year?
I couldn't believe it.
Either. I mean, they shouldn't be ahead of me either way.
The Mets were 18th
in attendance.
Boom.
With 2.3 million. I mean, teams ahead of them: the Diamondbacks, the Brewers, the Rockies, the Mariners, the Angels.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's expensive to go to a Met game, and I was seeing people.
You just blew my mind.
I was seeing people respond, going, "Well, the stadium's right downtown Denver. The tickets are affordable. It's a really fun place to go."
Got off to a terrible start. The whole fan base was disengaged. Remember, even Gary Cohen, the radio announcer, was just like, "This is awful. This team is awful." I mean, that's what happens when you get off to a bad start. By the end, of course, everyone was into it, but
even
they had already depressed attendance for half the season plus with their slow start.
But he even brought up playoff games. Playoff games were sparsely attended. So it's interesting, man. And if you're Steve Cohen and you're spending what's he paying in luxury tax? Three Oakland A's payrolls essentially in luxury tax or whatever. Like, all right, maybe the man's got a point.
But I would say that in a normal circumstance, the Padres are putting a team on the field, given the pitching rotation, the bullpen, and the stars in the lineup, that most reasonable people would say, yes, they are capable of winning a World Series.
And I think even the doomeriest of doomer could say, okay, I look at our rotation now. It's not very deep. And if somebody gets injured, if one of the top four gets injured, we may be in for a world of hurt. Maybe we can weather the storm depending on the severity of the injury. But on opening day, if this is our rotation, all right, let's ride. Let's see what happens.
All right, I've got more comments from Erik Greupner, including the fact that the Padres are now also into the luxury tax, payment level after the signing of Nick Pivetta. We'll get to that after a check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan. So, Woods, there are a number of teams, cheap teams, that can honestly say they've been putting World Series playoff contenders on the field. Tampa Bay, Milwaukee, they have. They've had good teams. They don't spend much money, though.
Correct.
If you want to keep doing it consistently, generally it requires a financial investment as well. So
Yes.
do the Padres, and this is again from CEO Erik Greupner, do they have the wherewithal and the financial stability to continue to keep the payroll at levels that we feel like they can keep doing this into the future? Here's what he had to say.
Yeah, we currently are projected to be a CBT payor this year, and we've been there in prior years. Too early to say where we end up. A lot of things can change over the course of a year. Things may even change between now and opening day, but obviously there's a willingness that if that's what it takes to put together a competitive team that we think can accomplish the goals that we have as an organization, we would be willing to do that this year. I think that's just a further commitment and, really proof in the pudding type moment for the fan base that, we mean what we say. We're not backing away from the plan to try to win a World Series championship, and we're doing everything we possibly can, putting every resource we can into fielding a competitive team that can compete for that championship.
In the short term, there's been a lot said and written about cash flow, current cash flow. Where does that stand? I mean, there's been a lot of, obviously, creative deals to seemingly limit some of the money being spent right now.
Yeah, look, every year is different. Every off season is different. And we are right now at a point when we look to operate the team where, we feel that we can support the level that we're at right now with payroll. And, any team looks into the coming years and you look at what contracts are coming off and what long-term commitments you've made, and you may manage payroll from a cash perspective differently from year to year just based on some of those factors, and it's nothing different. AJ's and his team, Josh Stein, are particularly good at doing that. And so anything that you've seen around structuring deals or the way that we've engineered the deals that have been put in place have been with a long-term view of remaining competitive as a franchise and also being as competitive as we can this year.
All right, so I think that was important that Erik Greupner said, all right, if we need to go into the luxury tax level to accomplish what we want to accomplish, there is a willingness to do that. That's the first thing I said, like in the offseason. Like, don't be so afraid to spend a little bit over into the luxury tax this offseason. If that's what it takes to get a fourth starting pitcher, you can do that. It's not going to cripple you. I mean, right now the Padres are paying about, I think, calculated around $2 to $3 million in actual luxury tax, like
penalties.
Right. It's only 20% of their overage, which is only around $17 million. So whatever that is, $3.4 million right now. And as Greupner said, it's not calculated until the end of the year, so we'll see where they end up. They could add more payroll, that could go up. They could subtract some payroll, it goes down.
Yeah, I think that and somebody just mentioned in the chat, I think it was our buddy Than, said, "Oh, there's a possibility of unloading before opening day." Yeah, I mean, I think that's the thing. The couple of guys that continuously get mentioned, the Robert Suarez's of the world, Ben, the Dylan Ceases of the world. Or Dylan Thief. I would hate to see him moved, right? But there was that window kind of left cracked open of like, well, maybe we'll be over, maybe we'll be under. You never know, and things do change.
Well, Kevin Acee reported yesterday that teams are starting to offer more for Dylan Cease, which is intriguing.
I heard Kevin said something to the effect of teams are now willing to meet AJ Preller's asking prices.
But AJ is less willing to actually trade him.
Right.
Now, at some point, it may just be smart baseball to, if the right deal comes along. I think for Robert Suarez, if the right deal comes along, and you can get better future pieces, controllable pieces,
save $10 million
and save money. Yeah. There's nothing wrong with that. That's just smart baseball and smart business to do that. I think trading Dylan Cease comes with potential whole world of problems in terms of trying to find more innings for your starting rotation, which is why I think AJ Preller is so reluctant to do that.
Yep.
But whether the payroll goes down or up is not necessarily a sign of they're making a bad move or a good move. It's, what's the smartest baseball move you can make at that juncture? And Erik Greupner's keeping, the options open. He doesn't want it promised that, we're definitely adding more, and he doesn't want to, tell people, oh, no, there's no chance we're subtracting. Because, AJ could do either going forward.
Trading
But
Cease at this point feels like it would be a tougher,
it's just
even
such
tougher
a
pill to swallow.
kick in the nuts, man.
it certainly
While the
would-
signings they've made haven't necessarily blown my hair back,
Right.
it has told me rather than punt, we're in it still for 2025.
it totally would matter what they got back.
But I mean,
In a-
it ain't
in a
going to be
deal
180.
like that.
It ain't going to be 180 innings.
It
You're
ain't
not
gonna
going
be
to
an
get
ace.
it. You're not going to get a 1.
No, but, remember, Dylan Cease isn't guaranteed to throw 180 innings. Even
Pretty
though
much. I mean, pretty much.
no pitcher is.
Well,
I mean,
yes,
he has
a safe
he
could
has
fall out of a building and land on his head. I get that.
He's one of the better bets to do
but
that.
he's that's
as good as it gets.
That's how
if you acquire multiple arms that you feel good about, it's something that you have to absolutely consider.
I
if
think
you're AJ
of
Preller.
course you have to consider it. But I'm just saying, when does the season start? A month, and you trade your number 1 top of the rotation guy. Oh, and you get, I don't know.
I think
it just feels like a kick in the nuts.
I think watching spring training and seeing how some of these other guys look, is Kyle Hart going to be a solid major league pitcher or not?
But
they try to sell that.
It's spring training.
That's why you have people who make these evaluations.
100%. It's
They're
not us.
They're not just looking, that guy had a 2 ERA. He's good to go. But they look at their stuff. They look at the movement. They go,
I'm telling
this
you,
guy's playing. And if they have lots of pitchers that they feel like, we got 4 starters, that are in good depth, we can make a move somewhere and improve our roster elsewhere.
I'm just telling you as a
consider
fan.
those things.
I'm telling you as a fan what it would feel like if they're like, we have traded Dylan Cease to the Boston Red Sox for Cutter Crawford or something. It's not. I'm not going to be happy.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to make a deal that's just going to be outright disappointing.
Disappointing,
and like a fire sale.
I
type
agree.
Deal. That's
I
not,
agree.
That's not coming.
I know.
So anyway, all right, let's take a time out. We can get to more of the comments later. I also want to talk about San Diego State's win last night. All coming up in our second hour of Ben Woods here on the Fan.
Gino said Steve Cohen said the series against the Nationals when they were in a playoff push was not packed, only drew about 18,000. Not the playoff games. I believe every playoff game was sold out. Thank you, Gino, for your clarification. That's now that you mentioned, it's exactly what I read yesterday. But yeah, man, the owners, going on there saying we need, Met fans need to show out this year. I mean, when you drop $760 million on a player like Juan Soto, you need to move some jerseys. You need to move some hot dogs. You need some asses in the seats.
And one thing that Greupner did say yesterday was that, the only reason that the Padres are still top 10 in payroll is because of the support of fans. And he thanked them. But he said, without a TV deal, we are pretty much reliant on fans showing up. And if they do, then we'll keep pouring that revenue back into the team. But if the fans stop showing up, then we won't be able to do it. I mean, that's how I read his comments. That as long as the fans keep showing up, we're going to keep spending on the team. And if they don't, we're going to have to reevaluate because that's where we're getting the money to spend on players from.
And, we started the offseason. And again, I look back till only last Tuesday and then signing of Nick Pivetta. Again, I get it. Totally creative deal. It's Nick Pivetta. It's not Corbin Burns. I'm very excited about Nick Pivetta. Do not get me wrong. And I think he's a very valuable addition to the team. But, bro, had they not signed him, Ben, that is a different press conference yesterday for Erik Greupner. It just is. And he can say it. You can say it. We can all say it. Fans turned out in record numbers last year at Petco Park. So they did their part, right? And I think up to the point of Nick Pivetta, I don't think the Padres had matched suit yet. Now, that was a really nice way to say, okay, yes, we did that. Now, being a fan is quid pro quo. That's what it is. I will scratch your back if you scratch mine. And that's totally okay. That's kind of almost how it should be. A team that invests in itself and its players and its fans, you get that back. And I think, but it's not dependent on us. I think Erik Greupner knows it. It's not dependent on the fans going to Petco Park. If you win and you keep grinding and you fight and you battle, fans are going to show up. We have proven to be a phenomenal baseball city. Yeah, phenomenal.
I also kind of heard, listening carefully to Erik Greupner in his CEO speak, I heard him say essentially that kind of the panic in San Diego from the offseason, he felt was a bit unwarranted. He didn't say it in so many words because, he's being nice and, doesn't want to make fans mad. But he said, we don't talk about payroll. There's a reason we don't talk about payroll. We feel like it's a competitive advantage. And I started thinking about that, and I was trying to, is it an advantage for A.J. Preller to have a bit of mystery about what the Padres payroll level is? And I couldn't grasp it for a second, and then it kind of came to me. And I thought, all right, if I'm AJ and I'm dealing with agents for, guys like Jason Hayward and Connor Joe and whoever, and it's been known that my owner is willing, like Steve Cohen, to spend whatever it takes. If I'm the agent, I'm going, well, I mean, why not give me $6 million? Why not give me $8 million? I know you've got it. But if there's a bit of mystery and my guy wants to go play for your team, but you also don't know what the payroll level is, and AJ's going, I really don't have a lot to offer you. We would love to have you on the team, but, kind of $1 million plus incentives is absolutely the best I can do. The agent can't look and go, well, I'm, listen to kind of reading the tea leaves, as I like to say. Maybe they're right. Maybe if you want to go here, that's probably the best we're going to get.
Well, but
is it good to not be talking about payroll necessarily in the offseason?
Well, yes and no, because you're talking about Jason Hayward and Connor Joe.
Right.
So but you're not talking about Anthony Santander and Corbin Burns, right? Like you're talking about guys that's like, hey.
But even Nick Pivetta and the structure that he accepted to come to the Padres.
Yeah, for sure.
Does he do that if his agent thinks, why should we make any consolations to you guys? You guys got plenty of money. Why am I structuring my contract in a weird way?
We're talking about guys like Pivetta and Hayward and Connor Joe because those are the guys that we did sign. I'm curious, who was AJ talking to that we couldn't sign?
That's the other.
There wasn't a whole lot of smoke all offseason.
Not at all.
I don't know. We're him and Blake Snell's agent. We're in Blake Snell talking.
You're talking about the Mets, right? The Mets starting rotation is it ain't great for all the money that they're spending. You look at it, you're like, I don't see that as a top 5, top 10 rotation in base. Things could happen. Clay Holmes could convert and be a Seth Lugo type. We just don't know. But David Peterson, pretty good. Tyler McGill, was it McGill? It's David Peterson. It's Sean Manaea. It's a converted starter Clay Holmes.
Lost Jose Quintana.
So if you're Nick Pivetta, and maybe you didn't want to play for the New York Mets, maybe we never know. But
Manaea, Montas,
Frankie
Senga,
Montas
Who's hurt now and
right.
out for at least
Kodai
6 to 8
Senga,
weeks.
David Peterson, Clay Holmes.
Right. That is not, you don't look at that as a Met fan and go, World Series are bust for these guys. You just don't. So if what you're saying is true, then why aren't you beating down the door of Steve Cohen and the New York Mets going, give me my $55 million, but give it to me without having to get creative? Because he's got the money to do it. I just think when you're talking about the Connor Joes, who I love, Jason Hayward, who I really respect, at that point, you're like, hey, man, this is what we got. Take it or leave it. Or go find a job with the Cubs or something.
I mean, it's a good point. The Mets, they had a big offseason, signing Juan Soto, re-signing Pete Alonso. They're up to like $320+ million in payroll. Can you really make a strong argument, though, that the Mets are a better team than the Padres? You just made the case. The Padres pitching staff is likely stronger. Mets have a good bullpen, too, but I love the Padres bullpen.
Love the Padres bullpen.
And then both lineups are loaded with stars.
100%.
And have a few role players at the end. Maybe I give the Mets a slight edge.
Edge.
I think overall, I kind of like the Padres.
No doubt.
Padres match up well with the second highest payroll in baseball.
With a healthy Tatis, a healthy Manny Machado, a healthy Xander Bogaerts, Jackson.
You're looking at Lindor, Soto, and Alonso.
I mean, the matchup star for
Manny,
star.
Tatis, Merrill,
right?
Bogaerts. I mean,
it's you can make the case, right? You can absolutely make the case that, like, actually, you look at those two teams, you go, I would like to match up against them. I think these would be really, really good baseball
There's only
games.
one team in baseball that the Padres don't really match up well against.
But none of the other 29 do either, except the one team that I think
Colorado Rockies, right?
That's actually
on the field,
actually on the field, true. The one team I'm really interested in watching this year from afar is the Atlanta Braves. I look at the Atlanta Braves and I go, people are sleeping on these cats, dude, because the Dodgers have stolen every headline, and for good reason. I look at the Braves, and if I'm the Dodgers, I'm like, I don't want to play those guys. Their pitching is good. It's young. It's nasty. Their lineup with a healthy Acuna and a Matt Olson who hit a ball yesterday, Ben, that sounded like it came out of a Civil War cannon. You know, you look at that and you go, oh, yeah, these guys have some really Michael Harris, I think he's going to have a good year. They have a really good team. But the Dodgers have stolen every headline. And again, for good reason. They had a monster offseason. So, yeah, the one team we don't match up well against is the Los Angeles Dodgers. But neither does really any other team, except maybe the Braves.
I mean, it's funny that the Braves, Jurickson was probably their biggest ad.
Yes, they didn't do much.
They haven't done anything.
But they're getting guys back like Strider.
But, the health is going to be a huge issue for them this season if they can stay healthy. Because we saw, by the end of the year last year with the injuries the Braves had, the Padres were well ahead of them. By the time they got to that wild card series, you could palpably feel the Padres had a huge advantage at that point over the
big
Braves.
Time.
You just could feel it.
Big time.
But you feel like just health-wise they've caught up.
Yeah.
With the Padres, at least, in the offseason.
Didn't they have a guy making his debut or something in the playoffs, or he'd thrown like 2/3 of an inning or something? The kid from my hometown, I can't even remember his name now.
Long name.
Yeah, long name. I can't remember.
Not Schwellen Bob.
No, he's in the rotation. He's good. I can't remember the dude's name, but yeah, man, like that team's getting healthy. They're going to be a force, and the Mets are going to be a good team. Don't get me wrong here. If you're a Met fan, I still think you have the nastiest 1-2-3 and one of the nastiest 1-2-3s in baseball. So, but yeah, man, it's going to be interesting to see how this team comes out of the gate. That's the thing I'm most looking forward to seeing how the San Diego Padres start, and it's just going to be so imperative that they get off to a good start this year.
Because if you're like the Mets and get off to a slow start, and you don't get the attendance numbers that you were hoping for, then that can have a real impact now on the finances of the team, kind of based on what Erik Greupner was saying yesterday.
Smith-Shawver
with the hyphen.
The hyphen. That's right.
AJ Smith-Shawver.
Anything else from Group Dog that I missed yesterday?
Well, obviously, you had the big Don Orsillo
Yep.
announcement, which, of course, we're going to have Don on the program coming up at 8:35 today to congratulate him on the new contract extension that he got from the San Diego Padres, which I thought was obviously important. And, yeah, I mean, we got the John Seidler news. That's going to be coming in the next couple of weeks, and we'll get a chance to talk to him and meet him. I don't know if we will in person get a chance to talk to him, but the media and the fans will hear from the new control person for the San Diego Padres.
Yeah, what's that date? Does anybody know?
He said, what did he say?
Mid-March.
Early to
mid-March. So, yeah, we'll be out there next week.
Before the season, but probably after we're there next week. So I doubt we'll see him
Probably
or
miss
talk
him
to
by
him
like
on
a
the air.
week.
Yeah. But
It
Sammy will be out there.
And
so.
and again, like I don't know anything about anything, but it is I don't want to say the word funny. It is interesting that people are making sure that we all know how involved John Seidler has been with the San Diego Padres. I mean, he was a very, 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 very silent partner for a long time. I honestly had never,
So are all the other partners.
Some of them, but there's literally one picture of the man that exists. You know what I'm saying? So, but that's something that they want to make sure to drive home. And again, only time will tell. Right? You can say it all you want, but only time will tell, in your actions as control person will ultimately speak about who you are and what you're all about.
The other thing that I thought was interesting was Erik Greupner said with no equivocation
this
that
was
the
great.
Padres will not be sold. And that, not only not be moved, I never thought they were going anywhere, but that they will not be sold. Now, you can say that, and circumstances can change.
Whoopsie-daisy.
You may have no choice in the matter at some point, to resolve legal issues. That's what happened with the Dodgers back under Frank McCourt. He didn't want to sell the team, but after a divorce, it became untenable for him to continue to own it. But there is no active plan, and he didn't mince words. There was no CEO speak there. He said, I've been told many times, presumably by Seidler family members, this team will not be sold. That it's just not in the plans. This is not some long scheme to get out from the Padres and cash in on the value of the franchise. They want to continue being owners of the team. So I'm going to take him at face value there. He didn't leave himself an out like he did with the payroll could go up, could go down. Yeah, anything could happen. No, he was like, well, I've told this team is not going to be sold.
Yeah.
So that was pretty direct.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. I'm in.
On the other end of the spectrum are owners who really don't spend any money, and I know Woods has one of those stories coming up on Don't Do This.
This is unbelievable.
Also have a funny moment from last night's TGL indoor golf involving the GOAT and a fairly hysterical mistake by Tiger Woods last night. If you didn't see it, we'll have some audio coming up from that as well. That's in our next segment. Right now, though, let me tell you about SDFatLoss.com. I lost 40 pounds in 60 days, but I'm not the only one. So many people in this building have lost a ton of weight. Tier 1s, listeners, other people in San Diego. If you take the three of us from 97.3 The Fan, me, Chris Ello, and Matt Scraby, 117 pounds together that we lost in 60 days. Each of us went through the program, lost up to a pound of fat per day, 10 to 20% of our body weight in just 60 days. John, one of our listeners, lost 40 pounds. Manny, I've told you about many times, lost 50 in the first 60 days, kept going, is now down 93 pounds with SDFatLoss.com, and they do it without any injections, hormones, or drugs. You don't have to buy any shakes or bars or mixes. You don't have to exercise. You just follow their program, listen to their counselors, eat right, eat foods from the grocery store like chicken, steak, and vegetables, and you absolutely can lose weight. You can do it. If I can do it, and I love food, you can do it as well. Just set up your free consultation by going to SDFatLoss.com. If you like what you hear and sign up for the program here in the month of February, still get $200 off the program. It's a great deal right now, and the results, they speak for themselves. I feel so much better than I did, look better. Just feel good when I walk by a mirror, as opposed to hiding. When you turn your head away from the mirror because you don't want to look at yourself. You ever do that?
Never once.
It's a good feeling, I promise you. Go to SDFatLoss.com. Sign up today at SDFatLoss.com. DDT, brought to you by Trust and Will. Don't leave your entire estate, house, kids, and life savings up to chance if and when you die. Do set up a Trust or Will online at trustandwill.com. It's a lot more affordable than you think. Visit trustandwill.com for more info. All right, last night in Palm Beach Gardens, Florida, it was TGL, Tomorrow Golf League, including Tiger Woods' Jupiter team taking on New York, and Tiger's team was just getting their doors blown off. I think they were down 8-0 at one point.
Again.
When Tiger had what he calls one of the most embarrassing moments of his career. So he's playing the hole. He's out in the quote-unquote fairway, and the green is somewhere out there. And we've got the audio of it, but he asks his playing companions, Kevin Kisner, Tom Kim, the caddy guy who's standing there, what his distance is. Read it off the screen. And they tell him 99. But it's not just 99. He's it's a long par 4. He's 199 yards out. But apparently
it's very standard in golf too to be like if you know that it's more than 72 yards, it's okay to say, what's it playing at? 172. So you just say, what are we at today? 72. Yeah. All right, so you know it's 172.
Clearly, you know it's not 70 yards away.
Me, the 29 handicap, knows that it's
You're like,
not
it's probably
72.
close to 200.
Right.
Closer to 200 than 72. So if you just say 72, it's 172.
Correct.
But apparently, inside it wasn't quite as clear to Tiger, who thought that, they weren't dropping the one. And so he ends up hitting a 99-yard wedge shot that comes up 100 yards short of the hole. And it was
So
pretty
good.
embarrassing. Here's what it sounded like last night.
How far? What is he doing? He's got a...
You hear that?
Yeah.
What's he
That's
doing?
That's Kisner.
Kisner.
That's Kisner. What are you doing?
How far? What is he doing? He's got a wedge. What are you doing? 199. He said 99 yards. I just said 99. No, I heard you say 99. Not 199.
I'm going to have to do some investigative journalism. What the hell just happened?
No, I heard 99 yards. So I grabbed my 56 and I hit it 100 yards.
On the nose. I mean, he did. It was. If it was
It came
99
up
yards, it
100
would have been a foot away.
Came up 100 yards short.
It's incredible. Even the best of them.
Well, I mean, he definitely didn't look sharp. It's first time he was playing since the death of his mother. And
Yeah, that's true.
snap hooked one. I saw someone, how do you snap hook one on a simulator? The answer, same way you do it outside. It's still a golf swing. It was kind of ugly last night, but funny moment, embarrassing moment for Tiger Woods.
We always talk about on DDT, you can think things, you can even share them amongst friends, but there are things, as we say, not for air. Hey, I'm going to tell you guys this story. This is not for air, right? Or this is not for print. And I think Brewers owner Mark Atanasio, I think he put his foot in his mouth a little bit yesterday. He is the owner of the team. Look, the Brewers have been, despite a very paltry payroll every year, it's because of the division that they play in, Ben. They've been, I guess you could call them, a successful team. They make the playoffs a lot. They don't really advance much. They have not been to the World Series since 1982. But I think if you're the owner, you're like, hey, listen, this is pretty great. So he sat down with Bob Nightingale, and Bob was asking him about his lack of spending. And I think they spent $900,000 in free agency this year. $900,000. That's on top of trading Devin Williams away. They've done a good job at keeping guys like Christian Yelich. They signed him to that big deal. They extended Jackson Chourio. They got that deal done. But what they don't do is they don't go out and they spend a ton of free agency. So he says this, and this is the quote that if you're a Brewers fan this morning, you're like, where do we go from here? He says, my goal from an ownership standpoint is to always compete. You hear that a lot. I don't like to talk about us as a small market. We're certainly not played like a small market. Since 2005, we have the fourth most wins in the National League. Quote, is my job to win a World Series, Atanasio said, or is my job to provide a summer of entertainment and passion and a way for families to come together? I think if that is your owner's mindset, I don't know that you should own a baseball team or any sort of competition. I don't think you should be all involved in any sort of competition at all.
Like, that should set off an alarm in Rob Manfred's office.
Right. Is my job to win a World Series? I think the answer to that question mark is yes. It should be.
Well, the answer is it's both.
It's both.
Your job is both.
It can. if you do one,
doing one
begets
easily
the
helps
other.
you do the other.
Correct.
Now, you can provide entertainment and a good experience for a non-winning team. The nature of sports, half the teams are going to have bad seasons.
Correct.
It doesn't mean that all of them are doing terrible jobs at, providing entertainment. You have to, have a good ballpark experience, try to put a good product on the field. But really your job is to do both. And that's how professional sports works. You need teams that are competing to win, essentially, to make this whole thing go.
Yeah, and they asked him about, their TV deal gets them about $35 million a year. And of course they compare it to the Dodgers $330 million annually. It's quite a big disparity. And he said, look, I don't want to think small, but we've never been able to do what the big markets do in terms of free agency and payroll. We don't have the financial ability to bring in superstars. We try to hold on to whatever we can. And, they asked Christian Yelich about these comments, and he said, what am I going to do? He said, we don't have a choice, right? It's not up to us to decide who's on the roster or who's not, or if we're going to acquire anybody in the offseason. It's out of our control here. It's a bummer. It's a bummer. It's a bummer to hear your owner actually come out and say, hey, I don't know, it's not really my job to win a World Series. My job is to provide entertainment throughout the summer and bring families closer together.
What do you want from me, guys?
Yeah, what do you?
I don't pitch. I don't hit.
By the way, the Padres as a franchise are way closer to the Milwaukee Brewers financially than they are the Mets and the Braves and the Dodgers and the Angels and the big market teams. So they're on the Brewers level when it comes to finances.
Crazy. It's just, again, one of those things. I think it's okay for you to think that, Mark. I just don't think it's okay for you to say it. No. And even if you think it, it's probably the wrong mentality to have as an owner. And no one thinks that you can compete with the Dodgers. No one can.
Limitations are understandable.
You can understand limitations, but when you spend $900,000 in free agency and you ship out Devin Williams and lost somebody else,
Willy Adames.
Yeah, Willy Adames. How do you replace those guys? And it's really, really, really tough scene.
Don't limit your dreams.
Yeah, it's exactly right.
All right, finally a little doo-doo this.
DD mega doo-doo.
And it's some good news for a friend of the program, Mark Kotsay, manager of the A's. Got rewarded for being a very good soldier, and a good manager as well. He had a 19-win improvement from 2 years ago when the A's were historically bad. Had a decent season last year, and now things are looking kind of up, at least on the field, for the A's. An uncertain future, expected to play in a minor league ballpark the next 3 years, and I would imagine part of that is, all right, Mark, you've shepherded us through a very difficult time in our franchise history.
Been a great soldier.
We know that this isn't going to be the nicest of circumstances, having to play in Sacramento. Here's a little job security, at least for you, and they extended him through the 2028 season. So at least through the rest of the time in Sacramento to Las Vegas. And, hopefully they play well enough that Mark gets to see them all the way into their new ballpark at some point and at least reap some of the rewards of this difficult transition period for the A's franchise.
It was going to take the right guy to do it, and they found it in Mark Kotsay, and his players absolutely adore him. And I love Mark, too. Really, really good dude. Congrats to him and his wife, Jamie. They're awesome people.
His quote was, "I'm very humbled. Outside of the day that I married my wife, I think this is going to go down as one of the best days of my life."
Smart move. I've met his wife. He's right.
Oh, yeah. That was definitely one of the best days.
And the disparity between the two is probably vast. I met his,
Like, as great as
it is to be the manager and get this extension, that is
marrying his wife,
far supersedes
50 feet of crap.
50 feet of crap.
and then
being the manager of the Oakland A's.
Second best moment of your life.
That's exactly right. She is one of the nicest people you'll ever meet as well. So I'm just happy for the Kotsay family, man. They deserve this.
That was a good one, Polly.
Thank
and
you,
that's
Paul.
Don't and Do this for a Wednesday.
That was Don't Do This with Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan.
All right, Aztecs fans, I know you've been waiting for all my hot takes on San Diego State basketball. I will share them when we come back, and we'll hear from the commissioner of Major League Baseball as well, Rob Manfred, comments involving the Padres and more from yesterday in Arizona, all coming up next here on 97.3 The Fan.
All right, my friends, don't go through another year with all that high-interest debt you've accrued. Let Loan Pronto wipe it all out right now. Loan Pronto's rapid equity loan makes it easy to pay off all your credit cards or tackle the 2025 home improvement project. Get cash in your pocket fast. No appraisals, no paperwork, no waiting. Their AI-driven technology can get you approved and funded in as little as a day. So if you're a homeowner, guys, this is a no-brainer. If you're feeling a little bit underwater right now, that's your equity. You can use it. Let them help you get it, okay? Low fixed rates, lightning-fast transfers. You can do it, too. Consolidate your debt, improve your home, take control of your finances right now. Imagine being credit card debt-free by this time next week. Don't wait. Call Loan Pronto now, 619-207-4336, or go to loanpronto.com. Get your free rate quote now with no hard credit pull, 619-207-4336, or loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Don't forget our Slam Dunk in Vegas national contest is your chance at the ultimate trip to Las Vegas. All you have to do is download the Odyssey app, log in, and listen to 97.3 The Fan for at least 1 hour to earn your daily entry into our national contest. The grand prize is travel and accommodations for a winner and 3 guests to Circa Resort and Casino, Las Vegas's premium sports viewing destination, where you can watch the biggest March Hoops party at Stadium Swim, plus $20,000 in cash. Good luck to you all. Speaking of Las Vegas, we're only about 3 weeks away, less than 3 weeks away. Mountain West Conference Tournament in Las Vegas. Hopefully, the San Diego State Aztecs won't need to win that to secure their bid into the NCAA tournament. But there's still 5 more regular season games to be played, and the Aztecs are definitely one of the teams on the bubble, but did what they had to do last night against Fresno State at home at Viejas Arena. Really coming out fast from the get-go, jumping out to a lead, getting it to double digits, 20 points at halftime. Never really let Fresno State go on much of a run in the second half.
A bit of a snoozer, to be honest with you.
I didn't even have to tweet much about it. It was a rather stress-free victory for San Diego State last night.
There's nothing like watching your team that's kind of, you're unsure about them. You don't know how to gauge them. They're hard to pin down. Go out and you have a snoozer like that. It's exactly what you needed against a way, way inferior opponent. And, yeah, your heart rate never got above 60 beats per minute. It was never close.
Aztecs have had really slow starts all year long.
Yes, and
you're like, how are we down 3 to this team?
Correct.
And, you're confident they'll figure it out, but you're like, this is a tough watch. Didn't happen last night.
Yep.
Did it without B.J. Davis, who played like the first 2.5 minutes, but was sick and came out, did not return to the game. Miles Bird also has something, I don't know, wrapped on his thumb, on a shooting thumb. I don't know if that's been contributing. He hasn't been scoring as much lately, but the Aztecs have clearly found something in the last couple of games. And to me, the new offense is Nick Boyd and Magoon Guath, and let those two just cook. Boyd has gotten much more aggressive. He hit 1,000 points for his college career. Most of it spent at, obviously, Florida Atlantic before he transferred to SDSU, but hit that major milestone, ended up with 19 points, game high for the Aztecs. Magoon had another really solid game, 14 points, 6 rebounds, ended up credited with 3 block shots, although they tend to add more blocks to Magoon as they review the game tape. They've done that a couple of times this season. And a really nice job of the Aztecs picking apart the Fresno State zone defense. The Aztecs don't see a lot of zone defense. It can be very tricky. Remember how much they struggled against Syracuse and their zone defense, both outside and inside, when they played the Orange on the boat and in the NCAA tournament. But they did a nice job getting the ball. You got Magoon, who comes up to the free throw line, and once he's there, he's got great vision. For a 7-footer. He's got beautiful touch. He can make that shot from the free throw line. Did it a couple times. Also made a couple of threes. But he also can find an open guy. And they had like 4 or 5 dunks. Farrell Compton had a couple of them where once you get the ball into the middle of the zone, cut to the basket, boom,
Done.
Find the guy. Easy shot, which led to a very high field goal percentage. They shot like 54% from the field, which is pretty much an automatic victory for San Diego State. They shoot over 50%, combine it with their good defense, and that's just a winning combination every time for the Aztecs, who ended up winning by 23. Now, they were favored
19
by 19 by the time the game started, which means that's what you were supposed to do. I think they went up 2 spots in the net from 50 to 48, so it didn't help them. They were up like 30-something at one point, and this is the dilemma for Brian Dutcher. When you're up that big, you want to take your starters out so they don't get hurt, give the walk-ons a chance to play. But Fresno State, scores a few points. It gets down to 23. It actually hurts you in the computer metrics.
Right.
It shouldn't.
That should not
a game
factor.
that you're up by 30 and it turns to 23 shouldn't hurt you
I know.
at all.
It shouldn't.
In the new era of college basketball that relies on Ken Palm and Bart Torvik and all the computer metrics,
bunch of made up guys,
making them all up.
Dixie Normus.
Dixie Normus, John McGillicuddy.
It actually does. it does behoove coaches to like run the score.
What's he
up.
supposed to do?
And I'm
Nick
not going to
Boyd-
try to embarrass another team and keep my starters in just to run up the score.
If you're up
That's not-
35 in the second half and Magoon Guath or Nick Boyd gets hurt,
Yeah, you're done.
It's also
Like,
bad
you can't have that.
sportsmanship
Yeah,
when you're
it
up
is.
30 and you're continuing to press and you're continuing to, leave your starters in. It's not a good look. But, could the Aztecs have moved up a little bit more if they had continued to just pound Fresno State? They could have.
there needs to be like a metric where it's like, okay, you're up by 30 with 7 minutes to go or whatever.
It's just turn off the metric.
The
Turn off the
game is
metric.
over
Yeah,
now.
I mean-
We'll play out the rest. Like, let the guys run. Let the walk-ons get some
and
moments.
it ends at a 30-point
for the metrics,
margin. Yeah.
like this is what's being submitted to the league.
I mean, Dutch said, he said it. He said, I'm not looking to pour it on another team. I would never do that. So
They've beaten Fresno State now 4 consecutive times by 20 or more.
yeah.
12 times overall. Nice to own. Aztecs own California. They have complete domination. UCLA used to be the best program in the state. It's now San Diego State. UCLA's having an okay year. They're fringe top 25 as well, but consistently
They got
San Diego
whipped
State has
last
just
night.
become the best team in California year in and year out. They did. And they should make the NCAA tournament. UCSD could make the NCAA tournament, obviously. But
There's no
California runs through San Diego
I
State.
think we talked
now in
about it the other
basketball.
day. San Diego has never sent two schools to the tournament.
USD's made it a couple of times, but never in the same year
time,
that San Diego State has. So we've never had two, and we do have the possibility of it. Did you guys see who led the I Believe
Yes.
chant last night?
Guy Fieri.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
I believe his son goes to San Diego State
he's a
now.
student manager on the team.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Actually, he works for Dutch, and he's on the operations staff, and he was out there with the towels and everything and the water bottles.
I think I saw a guy
and,
that was at a football game or something.
Yeah,
earlier.
I'd seen him before, and I didn't know what the connection was.
You never know,
but
'cause
his
he's-
younger son goes
he's
to San
everywhere.
Diego State and is part of
He
the
is everywhere.
part of the student.
I'm sure he was at the Super Bowl. I saw him at the NBA All-Star game. I think he lives in the Bay Area.
He makes the scene.
He's everywhere, so it wasn't super weird. But then I remembered, I think his son is
Now,
a freshman.
I'm not, you guys know this, I'm not the big cooking. What's his bit?
Flavortown.
Flavortown. And what is that?
So he was the host and is the host of Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives.
Okay, I've seen that. I like
which
that.
is,
good
goes
show.
to 3 different restaurants and a 30-minute show. Little dives. He's been to about 15 to 20 of them here in San Diego, just places that serve good food, casual. And then he's become kind of a major star now on Food Network. He hosts Tournament of Champions, which is their big celebrity chef cooking competition. I think they're into season 6 that's debuting
How do you
this
guys?
month.
How do you watch these shows? Don't you just want to eat?
I was an early adopter for the Food Network.
It's like watching Naked Ladies. If I'm watching Naked Ladies, you know what's happening next. I'm not. I can't sit and watch. Oh, I'm going to cook up this burger and look at these onion rings. I'm done. I'll be ordering Jack in the Box at 11 p.m. I have no willpower.
Yeah,
when
he
it comes
hosts
to that.
Guys Grocery Games, which is a game show for chefs where they have they have to do their shopping in this set supermarket
Yep.
and then come
Make
and cook.
something.
So yeah, he's all over the place. You see him all the time. He's got the frosted tipped.
Oh yeah,
hair
I mean, I
and,
know
you
who he
very
is. I know what he looks
signature
like.
look.
Are you explaining to me
But no,
what he is?
So when I was in college, this is while you were out, what were you doing in college?
Oh my god.
Meeting girls and partying.
Yeah, having a good time.
So I went to college in the Los Angeles area in the 1990s.
Oh god.
I have no idea
I don't
where
either.
this is
I know
going.
I'm embarrassed for him already.
Yeah.
So
Oh
it
god.
was-
Oh, don't do it. Please don't say what I think you're going to say.
So one of the only places in America you could get the Food Network in the early days was on a cable system in LA. So we actually had in our dorm the Food Network, and I was fascinated. I told people I would watch the early Emeril Lagasse shows, and I go, "There's something oddly compelling." This is when it was basically cable access. No one had even heard of the Food Network, and I turn it on and I go, "This thing is going to be big." I wish I had invested in the Food Network back then because I could tell this thing is going to go crazy.
I said the same thing about Matt Damon when I saw him in a movie called School Ties.
Did you?
Yes, and I saw him and I went.
That was the one where
Brendan Fraser was the
student.
quarterback.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, but he's hiding the fact that he was Jewish.
And I don't know that was his first film, but it's the first film that I saw him in. I don't know why I just said film, by the way. I don't know who I think I am. The first movie I saw him. What is that?
Motion picture.
It's the first film. It was the first film I'd seen him in.
I don't watch movies.
I don't watch movies. I watch films.
films.
I listen to vinyl. what just happened to me? Just left my body. And I saw him, and I go, that dude's going to be a star. Straight up. Just boom. I saw it in his eyes. Like, that guy's going to be a huge
said the same
star.
thing about Emerald. I would have people, and they go, what are you watching? I go, I can't get enough of this guy. He is, like, so hokey charming, and I just want to watch him cook food all day.
Paulie, did you think he was going to go where I thought he was going to say, oh, yeah, I used to watch all of these shows, and then me and my buddies would go and sample all of the diners and go eat at all the places.
That show didn't exist. That was later.
Okay.
Diners Drive-In.
I assumed if it was early on, it was just, me and my friends would just sit in my dorm room and watch Food Network.
That was mostly just me alone.
Friday night.
Just by himself.
I couldn't convince anyone to watch with me, but I'm doing my homework and
shocked.
stuff, and I would just have it on, because I like to have the TV on when I was doing my
Did you?
homework and stuff. I don't like just a quiet room with nothing.
I would listen to music.
So I would have the TV on because I didn't listen to music like you did. So Food Network.
Your college experience makes me sad. Every time you talk about it, I just get sad. You say that, but
I wasn't sad about it.
I don't know that
I
you.
enjoyed
I
my
don't
college
know.
experience.
See, I don't think you did.
I did. Promise you.
I don't think you know that you missed out. Does that make sense?
I'm pretty sure I know because anytime
I don't think so.
Anytime I tried to do the party thing, I just didn't like it. So I don't think I was missing out.
Because you didn't have a good wingman. God, I would have corrupted you in college. It wouldn't have even been funny.
What if Rob Manfred had a good college experience?
I don't know. I doubt it.
Yeah, I don't know.
When you look like Alfred E. Newman, it's probably tough.
We will hear from the commissioner of baseball. Got asked a question from one of my TV competitors yesterday about the San Diego Padres.
Not surprised.
Out there crushing
just crushing content.
I'll get to that
You're
after.
over here talking about Emerald Lagasse.
Check of traffic on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by Eliminate Termite, the orange oil experts. Seeing some improvements on our roads. Crash involving a motorcycle has cleared up on northbound 5 past E Street. Then another accident cleared near Civic Center. Stalled vehicle on the Grossmont College off-ramp northbound 125. Also, southbound side of the 15, just before Rancho Bernardo Road, stalled work truck between the HOV and Fast Lane. Have termites? Eliminate Termite inspects, treats, and repairs termite damage, all with a full structural warranty. Their orange oil treatment is safe for people, pets, and the planet. No tent, no move out. Protect your home naturally. Schedule a free inspection at eliminatetermite.com. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben & Wood, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
So Rob Manfred made an appearance in the Phoenix area yesterday for MLB Spring Training Media Day and sat in a little room and answered questions from reporters. Talked about, an issue he's mentioned before, the LA Dodgers and their free spending ways. He said, don't blame the Dodgers. They're following the rules. Now, the system we may need to look at that is allowing the Dodgers to do this kind of spending. He also, I thought was very interesting, said, unlike the Yankees of George Steinbrenner's era, who were the evil empire, and everyone said, hey, they're ruining baseball with what they're spending. He feels like what the Dodgers are doing is much more sustainable financially than even what the Yankees were doing, and that worries him. That the Dodgers will this isn't like, okay, we're going to ramp up payroll for a year or two and then we can bring it back down. It's like they make enough money now; they can just keep this up forever, and that's not
that worries him.
That worries him because
it doesn't
because the fans are fans of 29 other teams and owners of almost 29 other teams are not happy about it.
But I've not seen. Okay, now here's where I disagree, because I remember, and we had their names, and they went on record. The Dick Manfarts of the world, they went on record. Every talking head went on record as saying what the Padres were doing was bad. Not just, oh man, they may run into some speed bumps here. People were vehemently against what Peter Seidler tried to do. Vehemently against. And I'm talking the other owners as well. Peter was a maverick when it came to that. I've not seen one, even Mark, what's his name, Mark, that I just talked about? Adnazia was like, hey, I'm not crying about the Dodgers. I think it's great.
The Ricketts of the Cubs were crying about the Dodgers. Hal Steinbrenner was crying about the Dodgers recently.
I didn't see any of it.
They have absolutely all been.
I have not seen
either publicly or privately wringing their hands about what the Dodgers are doing.
Privately,
but no, even publicly. I've seen their quotes are out there from owners. It's not just fans that are complaining; it's the other owners. Now, is that putting us on a crash course for a lockout and a long work stoppage? I hope not.
Better get creative,
but
buddy.
that is something that is concerning. Meanwhile, the San Diego Padres were also addressed by Rob Manfred, thanks to Jake Garignani.
Oh, the man, Jake.
Channel 8, who went to the news conference and got the microphone and had an opportunity to ask the commish a question.
Rob, Jake Garignani from CBS in San Diego. John Seiler was named the control person of the Padres, and amidst a bunch of lawsuits, which I'm not going to directly ask you about the lawsuits. I know you can't comment on them, but I'm curious your thoughts on the health of the San Diego Padres organization and their market.
Yeah, so let me start by saying I think the Eriks, Casenda, and have done a great job as an interim control person, and in terms of keeping the Padres on track. They've really improved their revenue situation dramatically. Obviously, they've been very good on the field, and they have done a great job during this interim period of uncertainty, both Eriks, Casenda and Greupner. You know, I think that John is committed to the Padres long term. I think he shares the kind of vision that his brother had for the Padres, and I think the franchise is healthy and is going to continue to do well.
All right, that's fairly good news. I mean, considering it was just a couple of years ago that the Padres were in trouble from Major League Baseball for violating debt service rules and trying to take out too much in loans, Rob Manfred himself now says Padres are doing financially, they are healthy, they're in a good place with their revenue. So don't have to worry too much about the San Diego Padres going bankrupt at the moment.
Well, I'm still worried, right? I mean, I think, you know, most of us still are a little bit worried. But again, it's more about the long-term financial health of Major League Baseball. And as it pertains to the Padres, Ben, yeah, I mean, I don't see how anything has massively changed. And I know that there's a lot of page turning going on. And I hope that that's the case. I just don't see it yet, you know, how things have progressed to where we're suddenly super healthy and don't need loans and things like that.
Manfred also talked about the Ball Strike Challenge System and more. We can discuss that. We've got Don Orsillo coming up as well in the third hour of Ben Woods next on The Fan.
All right, my friends, we are halfway home on a Wednesday. Ben and Woods, 97.3 The Fan. Thank you. Messing with my camera. Got it all dialed in? There we go.
You look good.
Oh, thank you. Well, as I mentioned, we're halfway home on a Wednesday. Ben and Woods, 97.3 The Fan. I'm Woodsy. That's Paulie, the executive producer. Ben Higgins, your friendly neighborhood sports anchor, joins us as well. Our boss, Adam Klug, just walked in and dropped this little thing down for me, and it's a mailer that he received at his home, and it says, Adam, you're invited. The 2025 San Diego Tour and Travel Focus Group, and on the front of it is a big-ass cruise ship, Carnival, Norwegian, Royal Caribbean. If you flip it over, Dear Mr. Adam S. Klug. I didn't know, what's his S? What is it, Steven?
Doubt it.
Doubt it. Why?
I don't know.
Samuel?
That sounds right.
Mm-hmm.
You and your spouse or significant other are cordially invited to take part in the 2025 San Diego Tour and Travel Focus Group. In exchange for your time and opinion at our event, you'll receive a complimentary 4, 5, or 7-night cruise for 2 adults aboard your choice of major cruise lines departing from most major U.S. cruise terminals, including Long Beach and San Diego.
Adam Seth Klug.
Seth. There it is.
Oh, ask. That's great. That's a great initials.
Hey, can I ask you something? This package includes a spacious stateroom, all meals, snacks, and onboard activities and entertainment for 2 adults. Cruise vouchers are limited, so this offer expires in 7 days. Call today. Mention the RSVP code on the invitation. This is not a timeshare or real estate solicitation.
But it wouldn't matter if it was, because
he'd
we've
go
already
anyway.
learned that he will, as we had this conversation, about a week or 2 ago, that Adam absolutely is the guy who goes to the timeshare presentation to get the free weekend vacation in Palm Springs or wherever.
So the difference in Adam, me, and probably you guys as well, I get this in the mail, this goes right in the garbage.
You don't even consider it. You don't even give it the time to consider it and then reject it.
I look at it and I go, what?
You're intrigued by this one, though.
Well, I'm not at all. I would never. As I just mentioned, I would throw this right in the crapper.
Yeah.
This is exactly where that thing would go. Done.
It's intriguing that you sit for one
90-minute
hour and a
session.
half long meeting and you get a week-long cruise.
Meals included.
They want you to think this is too good to be true. I have to do this. What's the catch?
Andros nails it. Maybe his middle name stands for solicitation. Adam Solicitation Klug. He so I said, well, what did you do? Are you going on this cruise? He goes, we called. I gave him the RSVP code, and they said that I have to come with my wife. I have to bring her for a 90-minute presentation. And if I do that, then I'll get the travel vouchers and I can go on a 4, 5, or 7. How do you pick?
I don't know.
4, 5, or 7-night cruise. And he said that they wanted to do it. They discussed it last night, but they don't have childcare for their 3 children. So they're not going to be able to go and do the meeting, so they can't go on the cruise. I said, man, you got to find a babysitter. You got to do something if you
want to go on the cruise.
4, 5, 7-night cruise.
That's worth 2.5, 3 hours of a babysitter.
Right. That's what I thought. But it doesn't look like they're going to be able to make it happen.
I mean, theoretically, any of us could do this, but I'm kind of with Paul. Even though I'm intrigued, there's no such thing as a free lunch. Like what? There's a reason like this is worth it to the people to offer this.
But he's proven
he can resist the siren temptation of the timeshare presentation.
But he has proven time and time again that there is, in fact, not only a free lunch, but a free vacation.
Doesn't a week on a cruise sound much more like in value than 2 free nights at a timeshare or something?
Yeah, at a timeshare in Vegas or something.
Yeah.
This is the one I think I might jump through a hoop for if I was him and I didn't want to pay for any
Do they
vacation.
harvest your organs?
That's the thing. It's like it actually made me more nervous when I found out this is not a timeshare or real estate solicitation. If it were a timeshare or real estate solicitation, he'd be more apt to figure it out. But who knows what they're going to ask you? Yeah. So listen, I don't think he's going to make the cruise, which is a bummer because we could have gotten rid of him for 4, 5, or 7 days at some point and then done whatever we wanted to do.
Can one of us go to the meeting as Adam Seth Klug?
Hey, I'm Adam Seth Klug. Yes, this is my wife. And then we just give him the vouchers?
Right.
That's a good idea, Paulie.
We get to just run free for a week.
It's actually a really good idea.
All right.
Go sit in his stead.
It is, as we mentioned earlier, a fairly special anniversary. It was 6 years ago today, February 19th, 2019. About 1 hour from now, if I'm not mistaken.
About right.
Around 9 in the morning when news broke that Manny Machado had decided to sign a lucrative free agent contract with the San Diego Padres. Now, we had been most of that offseason not even thinking the Padres were in the Manny Machado sweepstakes. But then in the few days before that, all of a sudden there had been a couple of rumors that the Padres were one of the teams that had gotten involved late. Perhaps as Manny was not finding some of the offerings to his liking, and the Padres had stepped in later in the process.
All right, so you say that, and I'm trying to rack my brain here. Was there smoke around Manny coming to San Diego?
Yeah.
Was there?
Right, there was before
it had
the announcement.
quieted down.
So
it was him and Bryce Harper, and
I remember.
we were like, there were mock-ups of what they both look like in Padres jerseys.
Well,
and...
so the thing that got me that extinguished all of the fire was on his Instagram or Twitter. There was a glove, and it was black and white, and I went, "Oh my God, he's a White Sox. He's a white. It looked black or navy, and I said, he's a White Sox or he's a Yankee." I couldn't discern what color it was, but it was this like.
I think there was a lot of talk about the White Sox.
There was a lot of like a White Sox, Manny Machado to the south side for the Chicago White Sox, and I remember seeing that and going, all right, well, there goes that pipe dream. Manny was one of my favorite players of all time, and I couldn't believe it. And then we spent some time talking about it, and you were a little unsure about Manny. Had a bit of a reputation when he.
We did a poll, if I remember.
Yeah, we did.
And more than half of our listeners said, no, don't sign Manny Machado.
We actually nailed it. I believe, I mean, the poll is still up on X, but it was like in November of 2018, just talking about it as free agency was going on. Yeah. And we threw out a number. We said 10 years, $300 million.
Yep.
Would you be okay with this? And
yes,
over 50% of people said, no, he's too mean.
No, he's too mean. Is what we put. We put yes or no.
And we threw 10 and 300, like just throwing it out there hypothetically.
Yeah.
Guess what ended up happening?
Yeah, and question is moot makes a good point. Yonder Alonso, the Chicago White Sox connection, and I thought it was a foregone conclusion. I really did, that he was going to go to Chicago. I had always thought the Yankees, because go look at Manny Machado's Oriole highlights, 90% of them against the New York Yankees. So I thought you'd be foolish not to go grab him to play third base. Look at the turds that they have rolled out there since Manny Machado was a free agent, Ben. I mean, Josh Donaldson, DJ LeMahieu, and on we go. Manny Machado would have cemented third base for them, and I thought this is a no-brainer. They are absolutely going to go get him, and they didn't. And then when it didn't materialize, the White Sox thing was very real.
So February 19th rolls around. Spring training is just getting underway. We're going into the fourth hour of our program back at the old station just after 9 o'clock, and Paulie sees it first.
That's the genius of it. They decided they're not culpable,
guys,
for fixing games.
It's happening.
What?
Uh-oh.
Jeff Passan, check mark. Breaking. Free agent star Manny Machado has agreed to a deal with the San Diego Padres.
Wow.
League sources tell ESPN.
Shut up.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
It's happening!
Oh, my God. Oh,
Check
my God. What do we do? What do I do?
I know, we need some music or something.
Something. Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
Wow. All right. Here it
That's
comes.
Him, dude. That is him. Oh, my God. Holy ass word.
We did it.
Manny Machado, a Padre.
All right. This is
Sorry, Ben. Sorry, man.
this is pretty big stuff.
Sorry.
Yep. I'm looking at it myself right now.
God. I'm dancing.
Manny Machado has agreed to a deal with the San Diego Padres. League sources tell ESPN. There it is. Reputable source.
All right, guys. All right, just be cool. Everybody be cool. This
Calm
is what happens all the
Shaking.
time. No, we're doing. Yeah, this is a piece of cake. Piece of cake.
All right, this changes the discussion a little bit.
Oh, my God.
Certainly, if you've got a reaction, though, and you want to give us a call here, 858-457-1090.
Sucking down tag-alongs.
1090. All right, we need to kind of reevaluate now.
I forgot about the Girl Scout cookies.
Oh, man, I was sucking them down.
Crushed a whole
sleeve.
I was kind of in shock almost, you could tell. Woods was celebrating.
I was elated.
You were elated. Understatement of the century was this changes the conversation a little bit. Changed the city of San Diego.
Sure did.
Quite a
man.
bit, actually.
Sure did.
You know, the whole tenor of sports in this town
I remember
changed at that moment.
Yep.
I think we stayed on late.
We did.
And
We stayed like an
then
extra hour.
Darren, who started at noon, probably started at like 11.
Yep.
We went all local during that time. But I remember like the next day, I think it was after our show and in between our show and Darren Smith's show was, I think at the time, Stephen A. Smith.
Yeah.
On ESPN Radio.
Oh, yeah.
And he's sitting there, he's like, Manny Machado going to San Diego? Like, this makes no sense.
Right.
Everyone, we were all incensed. We're like, get this crap off our airwaves.
That's true. That's true.
But everybody was like, he signed with the Padres?
It was crazy.
I mean, before that, it was Will Myers signed the biggest contract at like $60 million. And then Eric Hosmer the year before Manny at $140 million or whatever.
Yeah, it was nuts, man.
But we were still in that sports funk of having lost the Chargers and not really found the replacement. I mean, the Padres had been here, but they had given us no reason to really feel like they were going to be our sports fix, you know, to replace what the Chargers had done.
Our boy Guz in the chat says, I remember some dude yelled at me at a San Diego Fleet tailgate that Manny Machado was coming, and I just brushed him off. That was the state of San Diego sports.
Yeah.
We had the Fleet.
The Fleet. Remember the Fleet?
God.
Remember the Fleet.
Makes me sick to my stomach.
I mean, look, Hosmer, it didn't work out, but that was a big signing when it happened. That kind of put us on the map at least a little bit. We doubled that with Manny Machado.
Yeah.
The next year, Fernando Tatis Jr. makes his debut. Chris Paddock was a huge deal. Remember, he busted onto the scene at spring training.
It was crazy.
You can make the argument, as much as you disliked how the Hosmer signing turned out, that Manny doesn't come to San Diego without
you say that. I don't know.
having the established.
I don't buy it. I never
300 million reasons why
I've never have bought
he was
that
getting
bid.
$300 million offers though other places.
I don't know.
The only one with a big offer.
I don't know. I never bought that.
But you realize, and
I liked Eric Hosmer.
Well, everybody in that clubhouse still loves him.
Oh yeah, they adore him.
I mean I think it was a selling point. I think it undoubtedly was.
I don't know. I think it was the 300 million.
Well, obviously,
it was my guess.
It was the 300 million.
Well, and the meeting he had with Preller, 6-hour meeting in a Cuban restaurant in Miami, and AJ brought this big binder in, and they just kind of went through it, man, and got into it. And I mean, obviously having him here has been amazing. It's been amazing. So and it for us, as we mentioned in the open today, took our show into a different stratosphere, and I'm so grateful for it.
All right, we need a contestant for Take on Woods coming up in our next segment. If you want to call now, 833-288-0973. While you do that, I will tell you about Prize Picks. It is daily fantasy with over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings. Join the team at Prize Picks along with me, setting lineups almost every day. Usually I do like the 3-player lineups. It's kind of my go-to, and I go with the power play to try to hit all 3 and win a good. You can win 5 times your money there, but you can win up to 1,000 times your money if you really get aggressive with Prize Picks, just by picking more or less on 2 to 6 player on stat projections on different games, different sports. Right now, of course, basketball is huge. College and pro. Post All-Star break, second half of the season begins tonight, and you can pick anyone from LeBron James, Dalton Connect. You've got Luka Doncic in there if you want to watch them taking on Charlotte tonight. You've got all those options available for you with Prize Picks, which is easy to play, easy to download. When you do, make sure you use the code KWFN. You're going to get $50 instantly when you play your first $5 lineup. Again, code KWFN, $50 instantly. Play in your first $5 lineup with Prize Picks. Run your game. Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for details. I can confirm Don Orsillo is awake and posting video content, including his appearance at Padres Fantasy Camp a few years ago.
It was one of the best things you've ever seen.
He can't pretend he's asleep when we call him in about 10 minutes.
Oh, I can't wait.
And he joins the program. Been looking forward to this all morning. Well, ever since yesterday that we found out that he was going to be joining us. I know Tier 1s are excited. Tell a friend. Get to your radios here coming up at the bottom of the hour for Don Orsillo, lifetime TV voice of the San Diego Padres. I loved your tweet yesterday. The 3 biggest fleecings in sports history or baseball history?
Baseball history. The 3 biggest fleecings in baseball history. Babe Ruth, Mookie Betts, and Don Orsillo. Oh, yeah! All from the same franchise. We can never forgive the Red Sox for giving Mookie Betts away. They got less than nothing for Mookie. And for Don Orsillo, they got nothing. And for Babe Ruth, they got money for a play.
Right. No,
Nanette.
I love Ben and Woods.
Thank you, Don. We love you, too. That's the 3 biggest fleecings in Major League Baseball history, and they all came from the same org. Somebody tweeted, I saw somebody tweet yesterday, I would rather have Don back than Mookie, which just goes to show you how beloved he was in Boston, and their ownership just completely dropped the ball. Paulie and I heard a little bit of that story years ago, and it's pretty gnarly, and now you just don't have to worry about it because Don's going to be right here where he belongs. Saw somebody tweet yesterday, bad day to be a fish. Don Orsillo signs a long-time extension.
San Diego Bay.
Yeah, bad time to be a fish.
Planes crashing on you.
Yeah,
Don
in there
fishing for you. Yeah, it's definitely not a good time.
Pulling out a dozen a day.
To be a fish.
But,
all right, before Don Orsillo, though, let's get to today's game. It is time for Take on Woods. All right, we got John standing by as our contestant, trying to win the trip to Las Vegas. Beat Woods or tie him, you'll qualify for the grand prize drawing. 2 nights at Park MGM and tickets to Motley Crue. Their new residency at Dolby Live at Park MGM, March 28th to April 19th. You can get your own tickets for Motley Crue, the Las Vegas residency, at Dolby Live at Ticketmaster.com. John, are you there?
No, I'm here. Good morning.
He is here. He is going to choose our category today for our 5-question musical trivia challenge. Here are your choices. Straight Talk. 5 song titles that begin with the word straight. Musical JJs. 5 musical artists with the initials JJ. And we got a mystery category today. Not only is it a mystery category, it's also an all 2-second song category in which the first song title will then appear in all the other song titles. So, Straight Talk, musical JJs, or the mystery 2-second song category. John, what would you like to play?
Well, Straight Talk.
Straight Talk. All right. Today on Take on Woods, we have 5 song titles that begin with the word straight. You'll have 60 seconds to try to come up with them. If you don't know, pass. We'll come back if there's time left on the clock. First question is our 1 2-second song. You need to give me the song title, starting with straight, and the artist to score that point. Paulie's queuing it up now. John, are you ready to play?
Let's do it.
All right, let's get to it. 60 seconds on the clock. John, your time begins when Paul plays the music in the category Straight Talk. Good luck. Let's take on Woods.
Straight Outta Compton, NWA.
Correct. Which 1988 song was a debut hit for Paula Abdul and reached top 10 in 16 different countries?
It's a song you like, straight up.
It is. Godsmack's highest charting single was which Grammy-nominated hard rock track from 2003?
Straight Outta Line.
Correct. Which lead single from hits like Cuts Like a Knife album was the first song to reach the top 40 in the U.S. for Bryan Adams?
Is it the name of the album? Say that again?
Which lead single from his Cuts Like a Knife album was the first song to reach top 40 in the U.S. for Bryan Adams?
Straight from the Heart.
Correct. Heart sings You Made My Mind, Now I'm Stronger, Now I'm Coming Through, in which hit single from 1978?
I don't know. I'll think of some Heart songs in just a second. I don't know.
All right, you got a couple seconds. Heart, again, You Made My Mind, Now I'm Stronger, Now I'm Coming Through. Can't sing. I might have helped you if I could. Coming straight on for you. Straight on for you. All right, you got 4, though, and I think that's a good score in this category. Straight out of Compton, straight up, straight out of line, and straight from the heart. Let's see how Woods does. John's score is locked in. Woods gets the same questions, but he doesn't have the benefit of pre-knowledge of the category.
Let's go.
All right, 60 seconds on the clock. Woods, your time begins when Paul plays the music. Good luck. Let's take on John.
Straight out of Compton, NWA.
Correct. Which 1988 song was a debut hit for Paula Abdul? Reached the top 10. And
Straight up.
Correct. Godsmack's highest charting single was which Grammy-nominated hard rock track from 2003?
Pass.
Which lead single from his Cuts Like a Knife album was the first song to reach
Bryan
the top?
Adams.
Was the first song to reach the top 40 in the U.S. for Bryan Adams?
Straight from the heart.
Correct. Heart sings You Made My Mind, Now I'm Stronger, Now I'm Coming Through, in which hit single from 1978?
Straight into you. Straight onto you. Straight. I know this one.
You want to go back? Godsmack's highest charting single was which Grammy-nominated hard rock track from 2003?
Straight to the taint.
Incorrect. Heart sings You
Need
Made
this
My
one.
Mind,
I
Now
know
I'm
this
Stronger, Now I'm Coming
quick.
Through. Oh, no. Time's up, which means, John, 4-3. Straight on.
Straight on. Straight on for you.
It's just straight on, but
It's just straight on.
And then the Godsmack one was straight out of line.
I don't even know that
That
song.
was all straight talk. And John,
Damn it.
congratulations. You have qualified with a win for the trip to Las Vegas.
How does straight on to you or straight on go? Straight on to you.
Yeah.
That one? God dang it.
One of my favorites. I love Heart, though.
I love Heart too.
Yeah, that one's definitely one that I love.
Mother.
All right, a good played game. John's a very good contestant. No shame there.
GSDP said I fell off. I got 5 straight yesterday.
Yeah.
All right?
That was a tougher category.
Guys
Good
are like
game. Good
baseball
game today.
fans,
Hey,
man.
you
You
can't
blow
win-
one save.
You can't win them all. Even Trevor Hoffman blew a save.
That's
occasionally.
right. That's right.
All right, we will have Don Orsillo joining the program, the voice of the Padres from here on out, coming up next on 97.3 The Fan.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. GEGE 000466.
First, though, Woods, and I want to tell you about 7 Mile Casino. Don lives, I believe, in Coronado.
Yes.
Which is actually right across. You can see 7 Mile Casino as you look across San Diego Bay.
It's like
because
3 Mile Casino for him.
It is.
Yeah.
It's right there. Now, you can take the boat right over to 7 Mile Casino because you actually have a view of San Diego Bay from the patio, which is a fantastic spot, especially with the weather getting nicer. You mentioned it. Look how beautiful it is outside.
Perfect.
You can have lunch, go sit out on the patio.
Patio's
Sammy's at
elite
7
there.
Mile. It really is elite. And then stick around for some great card-playing action.
Yeah, listen, smoke-free environment there as well. No slot machines. It's a place for card players. It's a place to go have a great meal too. I mean, you could roll in, have lunch there, have dinner there. You know, with games coming back pretty soon, great place to pregame, great place to postgame as well.
Absolutely, anytime, because it's open 24/7, which is rare in San Diego. And again, you don't have to drive way onto the East County to find your card room and fight through slot machines and parking and smoke to get there. It's 7 Mile Casino, just 7 minutes from downtown. Well, we got some exciting news yesterday out of Peoria, Arizona, when it was announced by Erik Greupner that the Padres had reached a contract extension that will keep Don Orsillo as the television play-by-play voice of the team. Or put another way, Don has been sentenced to a life without parole watching YouTube videos with Mud Grant forever and ever.
Forever and ever.
And Don Orsillo joins us right now here on 97.3 The Fan in Benton Woods. Donnie, congratulations. We are so happy for you, and I know Padres fans are ecstatic today.
Boys, thank you so very much. I appreciate that. And I want to start off by saying thanks for letting me on the show. I can't tell you if I had a dime for every time that I called Paul and asked if I can come on, and he always says, let me check. And then he comes back and he goes, nope, it's a no-go.
Yeah, I said, hey, guys, Don was wondering if he could jump on, and Ben goes, I don't think so.
We got a full schedule.
Yeah, we have time at the end of the program. We just never get to him. It's like he's always standing by in the green room, and he just never makes it. Like Matt Damon on the Jimmy Kimmel show. He's always the last guest, doesn't get on.
So frustrating. I mean, it's like, I will say this, though, he's got your back, because I have asked on numerous occasions which guy doesn't want me to come on. And he's like, I'd really rather not say.
You gotta have a gatekeeper, Donnie. I mean, you can't just let anybody on this program.
I mean, there's been so many times where I wanted to weigh in on something, or talk about the game the night before, and you guys just you won't do it. But I really appreciate you having me on this time, and I, in all seriousness, couldn't be happier. I think I was here about all of 10 minutes. When I started here and realized that this was incredible. The community, the city, the fan base, the organization. I just love it here, and I knew it right away. So when it became clear that my vision was to stay here for the remainder of my career, I was really kind of hoping that they felt the same way. And Erik Greupner, namely, was the guy who made it all happen very quickly, or a ridiculously quick negotiation. It wasn't a negotiation, we'll put it that way. It was unbelievable. I've never had anything like it. So it was very smooth. He was very quick in the off season, and I am just absolutely thrilled to be here and can't wait to get it going in 2025.
It's always dicey, and I think for anybody that is listening here, and you got to realize, like, we're under contract, Donnie's under contract. It's always dicey when you are in media here because you're like, I would like to stay, and they're like, yeah, no kidding, you want to stay. Of course you want to stay, and it's this tightrope of walking of like. You want to get what you're worth, but you're also like, I'll do anything to stay here. And it's just, I felt the exact same way, Donnie. It took about 15 minutes of landing here. I went, this is where I'm going to die.
Well, your boss is like, you think I got to convince anybody else to come out here and do your job in San Diego?
I'll replace you for a quarter of what I pay you. And you're like, all right. I mean, it's a dicey proposition.
There's not a lot of leverage. In fact, there's zero leverage.
Right.
I mean, and especially on the baseball side, the major league side, I mean, there's 30 of me. Okay. So, it's like when you lose your job one place, now you're down to 29 other places.
Yeah.
And, oh, by the way, most of these guys die in the booth before they actually retire. So, you also have that into play. So really there are very few openings, and you're well aware, as I was actually told by one of my president CEOs years ago, that there's 100 guys outside that door who can come in here and do this, who want to come in here and do this job, and who will make a quarter of what we pay you. So just keep that in mind before you open your mouth.
It's amazing.
And it's very true. I mean, this isn't a job, okay? It's baseball. I mean, this is the toy department. So, and I'm just so thrilled that humbled that it's worked out, and I get to do it for a long time, and especially here and with this group, I can't tell you how happy I am.
Talking to the legendary Don Orsillo here on Ben & Woods this morning, and we saw the news broke yesterday during our show, and saw Kevin Acee tweet out something to the effect of, Don will finish his broadcasting career here. Now, hopefully, we all hope that's no time soon, but I got to ask you, How does one get the in perpetuity contract? Because we're over here scrounging on 2-year, 3-year deals. I want the one that says Woods is going to finish his career here at 97.3 The Fan.
Well, I'll tell you this. I won't put a number on it. I'll say that it is long term, and as Erik Greupner said yesterday, the hope is that it's forever. And you do this business to get kind of a forever lifetime type contract, and you hope that someone wants to give you that. And when it happens, it's pretty incredible, and I just value it so much. I will say this: it's not a statute contract. I don't think there's going to be a statue at the end of it.
I wouldn't be so sure.
So far.
I would not be so sure.
But I will say this: I can't believe that I'm going to be able to stay here and do what we love doing here every night, and live where I live, and just be with the fans. I mean, I think that the fan base has been so incredible to me. I have to be honest. When I came here, I really kind of feared what it was going to be like starting over again with a brand new fan base. After 20 years between AAA and the major leagues with another fan base, I'm moving 3,000 miles. I mean, are they going to dig my act?
Right.
Probably not.
No, they did, and they have, and they do.
So it's been great, and to have the Padres recognize that is really special.
Don, I'm sure you get asked, what some of your favorite moments have been in the booth, or who some of your favorite athletes have been to meet. Not going to ask you that. I'm going to go the other direction because this has been a Woods.
Who are the worst?
What was your most embarrassing? What was your most embarrassing moment on the air?
I lost you guys.
Wow.
You there?
We're here.
Yeah, not that I didn't want to answer the question, because I really didn't. Most embarrassing moment. I have to think about that. I don't have any.
Good.
I pretty much everything I do is embarrassing a lot of the times, especially social media wise. I kind of embarrass myself, which I don't take myself very seriously. I don't know if you noticed. But I really enjoy the fun that we've been able to have on the air. I thought you were going to ask me my favorite moment, because that was asked like a lot yesterday. And I was kind of surprised by my answer, because, I got 2 no-hitters here. The first one is always going to be very special.
Yep.
That first one in franchise history is just, that's never going to, and who it was. And I mean, it was just great theater. And there have been so many different ones, but I have to say, the one that shocked me the most, that literally I can hear it in my voice, that I'm absolutely stunned that it just happened, and it never ends. Like I can't close. I can't finish the call because I just keep going on and on and on. Was the Daniel Camarena grand slam and coming back from down 8-0. That, to me, I'm just stunned. And then he gets he gets past home plate, and then I go, off Max Scherzer. Stuff just kept coming in my head. These voices, and I'm like just yelling stuff out. I'm like, wait a minute, dude, you do this for a living. Get yourself together.
Yeah, pull it together, man. That's so good.
So that one, I have to say that stands out. It was just so unexpected and organic, I guess. But no, there's just been so many that I've enjoyed here, and I'm looking forward to so many more. I'm also thankful that I feel like I am here kind of narrating what is the best period of Padres baseball. It's kind of incredible, since 1969 that there were so many years of struggle. Thankfully, I was only here for a few of them. To be here during this time period and be able to be the narrator of that is also incredible. The timing couldn't have worked out better. I just love it.
Paulie's very fast, so here it is. By the way, for anyone who can't remember, I don't know who couldn't, but here it is.
Camarena to deep right field. Camarena plays in San Diego. Are you kidding me? The Padres pitcher that is brought up from El Paso, the San Diego kid. It's a grand slam. That's unbelievable. Oh my gosh. Off Max Scherzer.
The delay.
I couldn't close.
How about Mud? Losing
Mud,
his
yeah,
mind.
background.
Was he
Oh,
just
he was.
running around the booth?
Great.
So good.
He was. I have to say the Joe Musgrove no-hitter, he was, even more all over the place and jumping up and down and clapping and, banging the desk and banging his microphone. But that one, we were both just like, what just happened? And we had shots of his brother who was also losing his mind at the same time. And, the stadium was losing their mind. I mean, it's just, what just happened? So to me, yeah, that one stands out.
Yeah, it was brilliant.
Brandon in our chat brings up the triple play call to clinch the playoffs at the end of this
Incredible.
past season was just.
That's another one.
That's another
one. You couldn't have possibly anticipated it either.
No,
which
you
is what
never
made it as a guy who knows broadcasting. I'm sure that you have in your mind sometimes, if they do this, I'm going to say this. If they do that, and then maybe I'll say this. You can never anticipate a triple play to clinch a playoff spot.
No. So that was the end of my 34th professional season, 10 in the minor leagues, 24 in the major leagues. And I usually do what exactly you just said. Like a player in the field defensively, you're thinking about what if this happens, what I'm going to say. You are anticipating what could happen, and you're sort of formulating without even actually, writing anything down or thinking. You're already formulating the call in your head. And none of the formulas I had in my head was a triple play to end the game and put you into the postseason. I don't know why. It should have. I mean, this guy's the first and second. Nobody out. Absolutely. That's something I should have been thinking about. But I'm telling you, even at this stage of your career, when something like that happens, it's that same kind of surprise element. And I think I have that too in my voice because I was like, again, it's just like, what just happened? Oh, and did I screw it up? Did I have all three outs? Do I have all the right people? And like a million things are going through your head when you make that kind of call because you're so surprised by it. You just hope you got it right. And that's right up there too, by the way. That was a sneaky one.
One of my favorite tweets I saw yesterday, we're talking to Don Orsillo here, was bad day to be a fish in the Bay. Now that Don Orsillo is going to be here for many, many
Not
more.
so much. Not so much. A lot of casting goes on here. A lot of casting, not much catching. I have a mini yacht. It's very small. It's kind of embarrassing.
How about an upgrade now with the big, the new contract?
Well,
is that in the plans?
Definitely the accessories on the mini yacht are
Okay.
going to be improving. We're going to be making that announcement soon.
Oh, good.
But I don't know about a bigger boat. I kind of like the boat I have. It's very conducive to what it is I do.
That's true. Yeah, you're not having big parties and stuff on it. You know what I mean? This is just for a man to go out and fish.
Get yourself some oars,
Oars.
Right. And if I do get it bigger, then you know who is going to expect to be invited on it.
Oh, yeah.
And this way, it's kind of like, sorry, there's not enough room. It works.
Hey, Don, you ever see this clip from Jaws?
Yeah. Hey, have you ever seen Jaws? Look at this video I'm going to show you. That SLB, dude. I swear to God.
And it's not like I'm catching tuna either, by the way. I don't need a bigger boat to get this stuff onto my boat. So.
I love it, man. Well, we're so happy, Donnie, that when we saw that yesterday, none of us really had an inkling that, you weren't going to be here. Was there a small thought in your head? Like, I know you guys got this all worked out and everything's good now, but we have contracts too. Our contract's up in a year and a half, and you have that sick, sinking feeling of like, all right, what if this doesn't go my way? What am I going to do? Was that ever in consideration for you?
Always in this business. It is every time the negotiation comes up because as I said, there's only 30 of these jobs to be had, and I have a little PTSD in this area.
Yeah, big time.
I worked someplace for 15 years, 20 years with the same organization. I was at AAA for 5 years before they brought me up. Won 3 World Series rings while I was there. We're highly successful as far as the ratings went, and the fan base really liked us. So in some ways, in my mind, wrongly so, I felt a little bit untouchable. I got a little full of myself, I don't want to say that because I've never forgotten where I came from. But I did say to myself, boy, I can't imagine that they wouldn't bring me back next year. Only they called me in and said, we're not bringing you back next year. And I went, oh, okay.
All right. It's shocking. I'm so glad they did that to you. I hate that it happened to you, but I'm so glad that they did that to you.
Thank you, Red Sox.
That's how we feel.
Absolutely.
What was the backup career plan, though? I mean, everybody in broadcasting has a backup career plan, right?
Well, not so much. I don't have any other skills. I mean, I don't know. I had no other plan. I thought I would be out at least a year, probably doing other sports, like some college basketball, which I was doing at the time during the winters. I had 5 years of AHL experience in the minor leagues and did a lot of college hockey. So I really felt like, hockey was something I probably would have to do during the winters and wanted to do. But it just, the Padres, I mean, I literally was never unemployed, which was amazing. Ron Fowler flew his plane out to Baltimore when we were on the road in September. They actually announced I wasn't coming back in August, so I had 5 weeks of Red Sox games to do. And the Padres, I think I signed in the middle of September, so I was not without a major league job, which was amazing. And thank him and Peter at the time for coming and aggressively recruited me to San Diego, because I absolutely love it here, and I'm thrilled to be here for the remainder of my career.
You could open a restaurant, for real.
Well, you don't see the failures. You only see the stuff.
That's
you only see the success.
Don, thank you so much, and congratulations
You're the best,
to
buddy.
you.
Appreciate you,
thanks,
man.
We really appreciate it.
I really hope that you guys will let me on when I call.
I will set up a weekly right now.
Not going to happen. We'll talk to you in 4 years.
I'll set up a weekly right now. Right now, bud. We love you, man. We appreciate you and love you. I'm so glad you're here.
Thank you so much. Right back at you.
Buddy.
There he is, Don Orsillo. We got to check traffic quickly, and then we'll wrap up the hour here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danek.
Traffic is sponsored by Crystal Geyser, Alpine Springs. Still a few problems here, guys. Tow truck is helping to clear a crash on the Coronado Bridge. It's heading over to the island about mid-span, so expect a backup there. Also, southbound 5 at the East 8 connector ramp, collision over to the left shoulder. Got a stalled car on northbound 5 before L Street, that's over the right shoulder. And an accident in the East County in the clearing stage, westbound 8, just before Mullison. What makes Crystal Geyser Alpine Spring Water different? They always bottle their Alpine Spring Water less than 1.5 miles from the spring source. And all their bottles are made with 50% recycled plastic from their own recycling plants. Crystal Geyser, bottled at the spring source. I'm Kelly Danek with Ben & Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Rojas on the ground at third. Machado touches third, fires to second. Out at first. Oh my goodness! It's a triple play. It ends the ball game. The San Diego Padres have clinched their spot in the postseason after a magical 2024 campaign. Will this finally be the year for the faithful?
Triple play.
It should have been. Oh,
that was a great call, though.
It was.
And totally, as he said, you can't
don't
anticipate
plan it,
that.
man.
I know
There's
he
just
said
no way.
Well, first and second, nobody out. You got to think triple play. No, you don't.
No, you
no
never
one ever thinks that.
You never ever think, hey, if we roll a triple play, we're good. No pitcher's ever thought it.
You're hoping for
no
a double
fielder.
play.
Yes, no fielder has ever. What was the score of that game? Do we remember?
It was a one-run game.
One run.
It was a one-run game.
Oh
right?
my God, dude! I thought that was it, man. That was the catapult, buddy. I thought that was the catapult.
Whew. Great stuff from Don Orsillo. Don't expect it anytime again soon. It's a special treat, everybody. All right, we'll come back. We got our biggest fan announcement and Sam Levitt from Spring Training. Spring Training Sammy next. Our thanks again to the voice of the Padres forevermore, Don Orsillo, for joining us in our last segment. Didn't get a firm number on that. He said, I mean, it's a good chunk of time.
I love it
going forward. I think the reporting was at least through the end of this decade.
Oh man,
but with the option perhaps of going longer than that as well.
Makes me very happy, man. Just a part of all of our lives. You know, he makes it better. And somebody, our buddy Jeff in the chat said, I'm in a great mood now. Don's energy is infectious, and it's absolutely right. I mean, he is. It's totally that. He puts you in a good mood, and he and Mud together is PB and J, dude. It is truly incredible, and man, I just love him. I love him, and talking to him off the air is it's the best. Like, he got a little spicy, right, talking about the Red Sox there, but to hear, you know, the unvarnished story, I mean, what they did to him is beyond insanity, and it makes zero sense. As he mentioned, they were doing a great job. They were winning. The team was winning. Him and Jerry Remy were a great pair. Ratings were good. People like them. Why would you mess with that?
You know, and there is some truth to what he said and we said about there are so many people who are willing to do this job, and you got to feel lucky that you have it.
Sure.
But
you also have to know your worth.
But at the same time, you don't think the Red Sox would undo that decision if they could and realize, hey, we had a pretty good thing in Don Orsillo, and we let it get away for what? You know?
Yeah.
Nothing.
For what?
For nothing. And we could have kept him happy and here for a long time.
Yeah.
So he did. He actually did have leverage. He just didn't know it, and the Red Sox didn't know it at the time.
Crazy.
Now clearly they do know it. Sam Levitt's going to join us. He's currently in the Mike Schilt scrum at the Peoria Sports Complex. So we'll get to that in just a second. First, though, it's time for our biggest fan announcement. I see Ashley's in the chat, just here for the biggest fan, hoping to hear her name called. If she does, she will have 10 minutes to call us back at 833-288-0973 and qualify for our grand prize drawing of a 20-ticket night in the Odyssey Suite at a Padres game. You and your friends enjoying our luxurious suite. It's right behind home plate, just to the left of home plate. Really great spot in Petco Park for an upcoming game this season. You can register your name at 973thefan.com/biggestfan and then listen 3 times every weekday, 9 o'clock, 1 o'clock, and 5:30. All right, here we go. Today's biggest fan. Sorry, Ashley, it's not you. It is Peter Garrow from San Diego. Peter Garrow from San Diego. You are the biggest fan. You've got 10 minutes to call us back now at 833-288-0973. Good luck from 97.3 The Fan.
What are we waiting on? Sammy is at a scrum?
Mike Schilt was a few minutes late. He was supposed to talk at 8:50.
He is
talking
chatting right now. I can see because Sammy's camera's on, so in his little window that I've got in our computer, I can see everyone gathered around the backdrop where Mike Schilt does his daily. They're on the patio, right where we'll be broadcasting live at this time next week. Next Wednesday morning, we will be sitting right there on that patio and going into our final hour of the show. Now, it'll be 10 o'clock in the morning in Arizona because the time has not changed yet, but we will be out there next Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday broadcasting live.
It's going to be hot, isn't it?
It looks like it based on the 10-day forecast that it'll get into the 80s. Yeah.
Hope I don't pass out again.
We've already got a plan to either
Talking
bring
to my
or
buddy
buy
last night,
some
he
shade.
I was telling him, we're heading out next Tuesday, and he goes, "Didn't Woods get like violently ill?"
It wasn't violent. It just hit me out of nowhere. And again, like I think you guys would know. I would tell you. Oh, we went out boozing last night. We went and got tuned up last night at Explicit. No, we didn't do anything. I think Paulie and I ate spaghetti in a bucket, and Ben worked. And next thing you know, I'm sitting out there, and my eyes like cross. I start to see stars we had about 45 minutes left, and I went green, and I just felt like death.
Yeah, fantasy camp is a little more fun. Obviously, you're playing baseball. I go out and play some golf. We try to go out and eat and have a good time. Spring training trip's a work trip.
It's
working. I'm doing TV.
Yeah, it's a grind.
Guys, we're taping content and interviews. It's pretty much an all-day grind when we're there.
Yeah.
Not that we don't enjoy it.
Freaking
Looking forward
blast.
to it. It's
oh
fun.
My God, it's
but
a blast.
It's definitely not the party trip.
No.
Out to spring training. So, yeah, you Definitely not out late drinking or
No.
anything in Arizona.
Satan's Blowfish says the bucket of spaghetti didn't have anything to do with it. Maybe. It might have been. Paulie was fine, though. Paulie also had a bucket of
You definitely
spaghetti.
had it. was heat exhaustion.
Is that what it was?
I think so.
Like dehydration
Yeah.
or something?
Yeah.
It just got me, man. It just got me, and it zapped me.
It was about
and then-
9 o'clock, like the last hour.
It was about the last
We were
hour,
just
and I
done.
was done. And I went and laid down in the car, and then Paulie, you drove home, and there's Ben and I passed out in the car. It's still the best video of all time of me just in the back
driving the olds back to their home.
Yeah, we got an easy up. We're getting an easy up. We're going to drive out. We're going to get our credentials. Then we're going to stop by.
That's a shade tent.
Yeah, we're going to stop by the Dick's and grab an easy up and keep ourselves in the shade. Is it going to be cold in the morning?
It looked like it was only going to be in the 50s, which
Okay,
is
that's
not so
doable.
bad. We were there a couple years ago, and it was in the 30s. It
Peeling,
was-
but then you start peeling layers off the morning.
cold.
I mean, it really is. You get the whole experience.
This segment of Ben and Woods is brought to you by Robert Half. 9 out of 10 hiring managers are having difficulty hiring. Robert Half is here to help. They're recruiting professionals utilizing award-winning AI to connect businesses with highly skilled talent. At Robert Half, we know talent. Visit roberthalf.com/talent today. What do you laugh at?
Prolific the Great says just buy a hat umbrella. You know the hats that have the umbrellas over the top? I'll get one with 2 Budweiser in each side.
It's possible the Padres will nix our idea of a tent. I mean, it is their...
Wait, really?
It's their compound. They can say what we're allowed to bring onto it and not allowed to bring onto it. So,
Do you think that they will prohibit us from bringing a tent out?
I don't know. I mean, if we have the wrong sponsor or something on it, maybe they have another sporting goods sponsor. They can't have a Dick's tent out there. So we have to be careful about what we bring onto campus.
Shouldn't they then give us one?
I don't know if they have extra ones. They may be using all of theirs at spring training.
Oh boy.
I'm just warning you.
All right,
that-
fine. I'll bring one of those umbrellas, like a parasol, and I'll sit there daintily with a parasol as I'm interviewing Jake Cronenworth.
All right, looks like Sammy has wrapped up with Mike Schilt and is sitting down with us now. Shall we just go to him at the moment? All right, let's go out to Peoria, Arizona, onto the back patio where Sam Levitt, spring training Sammy, is joining us here on 97.3 The Fan. Any big news from Mike Schilt in the last 6 minutes, Sammy?
Yes. Has anybody broke the news of who is starting the
No.
Cactus League opener on Friday?
This is
You
your
ready?
this
Here
is
we
your
go.
big chance.
Drum roll,
It's happening.
please.
Here
Here
it
we
comes.
go. Live here on
Here
97.3
comes.
The Fan. Right-hander Ryan Bergert will start on Friday against the Seattle Mariners.
I like it.
AJ Cassidy will
Padres
beat
Cactus
you
League
to it on
opener.
Twitter. Sorry.
All right. Well, hey, you know what? We're over the air here.
I like
Live
that.
and local on
All right.
97.3 The Fan.
Ryan Bergert.
Ryan Bergert will start the Cactus League opener.
Are we sure the G isn't silent?
It's not Berger.
Or Berair?
Berair. Ryan Berger.
No, I can confirm it is Ryan Bergert. So interesting. I don't know that would have been my prediction, just as far as the guys competing for that final rotation spot, but obviously somebody who has a lot of experience at the upper levels of the minor leagues now, and
Nice.
sounds like they want to see what they got. So
Ooh, I
it'll
like
be
it.
Ryan Bergert. Doesn't sound like it'll be a piggyback situation with another starter type going on Friday. We'll see. They'll put out the pitching lineup. I'm sure late Thursday or by Friday. But yeah, Ryan Bergert pitching on Friday.
All right, you've already been in the clubhouse as well, and I saw that you had a chance to speak with the newest Padre, Yuli Gurriel, with the translator there. But some interesting comments. Sam obviously was asked, the incident from the 2017 World Series with Yu Darvish, and tell us about his response to that. I thought it was some good comments.
Yeah, I thought, he responded to it well. He essentially said that you would come over and said hello to him. He appreciated that he came over and said hi, and that he's grateful and happy to be his teammate. So from what Yuli said today, it seems like, those guys have moved past it and looks like no issue, which is obviously a very good thing. So aside from that, about the Darvish situation, a couple of other interesting things from Gurriel, what he can bring. Obviously talked about his experience, his time with the Astros. Mentioned that he works out with Manny Machado in the offseason, and Manny would tell him about the team, the potential, the success they've had as a group. So clearly there's a connection there with Manny. And on the Yu Darvish history, sounds like that is, from what Yuli said today, pretty much all good between the two, and said that you had went over and said hi to him.
He did hit a bomb in his first AB yesterday, which I found it's baseball in a nutshell. Goes out and hits a bomb against Michael King. And you saw Michael King just kind of turn away in disgust after giving up a tank.
Saw Toddy take King to the wall as well.
Did he? Oh,
so
man.
I don't know. Are we concerned about Michael King?
Is Michael King on the hot seat? I think people want to know right now. And the thing with with Ryan Berger getting that call, I don't know how much it means. I don't know how much it means, good, bad, ugly, indifferent. It doesn't. I don't think it really matters at all. It's just the plan that they've set in place. But yeah, man, these are people that and players that you're going to be counting on or trying to count on potentially even this season. So I do like it, man. I do like it. I think in our minds we all think, well, why wouldn't it be Michael King, getting start one or Dylan Cease or anything like that? It doesn't really work that way in spring training. There really are no rules.
No.
You can do whatever you want.
I really look. I don't think in spring training you can, especially when it comes to pitching schedules, that you can read into a ton of it one way or another. Look, I also think it may speak a little bit to the fact that nobody has a chokehold on that fifth and final spot, right? I mean, none of these guys you would say right now have that much of an advantage, maybe above others for that fifth and final spot. So maybe they view Ryan Berger as a real possibility there and want to see him. Could be a little bit of this bit of the throwing schedule as well. Like interesting today, and this is going to be a first for me here at spring training. Yu Darvish will throw a live BP today, but he will actually throw it at the stadium across the way here in Peoria, and they have not done that in my time. Mike Schultz talked a little bit about it. Good opportunity to get over there, being a little bit more of a real game setting. I don't know who Darvish is going to face today, but every pitcher and every situation obviously is a little bit different. And you guys know, even as we get into March, you'll have times where you might see a Yu Darvish, Michael King, Dylan Cease, whomever, throw in a B game rather than throw in a Cactus League game, and they could throw 3-4 innings, and that just be part of their progression. So, again, you got to take, I think, the pitching schedules always with a little grain of salt, but interesting that Berger's getting the start nonetheless, and I'm looking forward to getting over to the stadium today and seeing Yu Darvish over there.
So, Sammy, kind of a broad question, and maybe not one that you can pinpoint, but we've been out there every year since we've been here. You've been out there a bunch as well. A couple of years ago, the vibe was, obviously really high. You spent a lot of money, expected to kind of waltz into the playoffs. That didn't happen. Last year, the vibe was better, but it was a new manager, and everyone was still kind of unsure. And by the end of camp, I think they were clicking. What's it like? What's it been like this year? I mean, you got Dylan Cease, potential trade chip. You got Luis Arraez, who was a potential trade chip. You've got Michael King and arbitration, like all of these things coming around. But there is a new culture installed. How are the guys, the vibe of the team?
I would say that the things I'm noticing, I'll give you a couple of words here. Number one, I would say continuity. Even though there's no Jerkson Profar, there's no Ha-Sung Kim, there are key members of this team from the last handful of years that are not here. It does feel to me like there's a real sense of continuity. And you think about having Mike Schilt, this coaching staff, back. You think about all the core players that are still here. Whether you ask Jackson Merrill about it, or Jake Cronenworth about it, or Manny, or Xander, I think these guys like what they got in this locker room. And obviously the core, the stars, they're the same guys that were here a year ago, minus Jerkson Profar, who obviously had a great year. I get a real sense that they are confident in the group they have. They're not just saying that. And that there's a sense of continuity. The other word I would use is health. I think Manny Machado feels great, not coming off elbow surgery. We just talked to Luis Arraez inside the clubhouse. Mike Schilt talked about it a few minutes ago as well. I don't think that we really understood with Luis Arraez how difficult that was for him last year and how remarkable it was that he won a batting title basically without, a thumb of use, and how much pain he was in. How much work it took, how much planning it took to get him out there and for him to be as productive as he was. I think Luis feels great. He had surgery on that thumb, as you guys know, in mid-October, did not swing until late January. It was a really different offseason for him. Him and his wife took a trip to Paris in December. He's not a guy who goes on vacation. And I asked him, about only starting to swing in late January, and he told me he's ready, and he seems really confident and ready to go. So the fact that he's healthy and Manny's coming in fully healthy, Xander is not worried about playing a different position and the impact that's going to have on his body, all the different movements he was getting used to last year. These things are real when it comes to health. So everybody's, healthy. Knock on wood, it continues to stay that way. But, it just feels like a healthy, confident group that has a lot of continuity to it. And, look, this time of year it's easy to get excited. And when you're around here every day, you start to feel that confidence and excitement that this team, is going to be just fine.
Sam, did Luis Arraez address selectivity at the plate at all? Because we've heard that the Padres would like him to walk more, but also don't want to take away what makes him Luis Arraez. So it's
tough needle to thread,
kind of a
man.
fine line there because, when you make a lot of contact, you're not going to draw a lot of walks. So did he say anything about that, or what have you heard there?
I don't recall him saying anything today about selectivity in particular. He did get asked about his ability to if he wanted to hit some more home runs. And again, he leaned, on all that stuff today, he leaned on his health and the fact that he's healthy, and when he's healthy, I think he's more of a complete hitter, even though obviously he hits for a very, very high average. So I don't recall him saying anything about being more selective per se, but I think the healthy Luis Arraez, the hitter, is a version of him that for the most part last year we didn't get to see. So I'm excited to see it, and we'll see if that comes with him being more selective.
You also talked to Dylan Cease. I think Jake Cronenworth as well. Dylan Cease looking very much like a North Park beer tender
Big time.
at this point. But both guys have come up in trade rumors, yet neither of them seem that bothered by it. Sammy, is that kind of the impression that you've gotten from both of them?
Yeah, got that impression totally today. I mean, Dylan Cease said it doesn't upset him, doesn't affect him. He's just kind of rolling with it. And I think also you have to keep in mind he's been involved in trade rumors a lot over the last few years. And obviously it was really heavy trade rumors this time last year when he was still with the White Sox. Jake Cronenworth got asked a little bit about it as well. Doesn't seem like it's affected him. Jake kind of echoed those same things that we've heard from the other guys as far as the room of guys they have here. I will say, just as a funny side note, the Dylan Cease beard, I would say, is one of the major talks around spring training right now. And he's not sure if he's going to keep it or not. And he was asking the fans for what they want, and even said that you can DM him and tell him what you want. So you can do that if you're listening out there. You can DM Dylan Cease and provide your opinion on what he should do with his pretty big beard.
It's burly.
I mean, he's got a lot going on with that beard. So
I'll say this:
we'll see if he keeps it.
Your buddy shows up, you haven't seen him in 6 months, and your buddy shows up with that beard, you're immediately concerned. I'm just going to tell you right now, your buddy shows up with that beard, you're like, is everything okay? Are you okay? No, I'm great. Have you ever heard of a comb or a beard trimmer, perhaps? He keeps it a little bushier than maybe that I would like it.
Take some lessons from Erik Greupner.
Oh, my God. Could he ever? Jeez. That thing is locked in, bro. That's professionally done. There's no way Group gets in the mirror. It would take an hour and a half. That thing is professionally done. Dylan Cease is just letting it flow. Hey, whatever works. I don't care what you do. If you go out and get outs.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. He's let me see. What is Dylan doing right now? He's on the bullpen mound right now. He's I don't know what that contraption is called where like he's like they're kind of pulling him
like
while
track
he's
man?
doing I don't no
he's running and they're pulling him.
No, he's not running. He's on the mound. It's around his waist.
He's
I'm
plowing
not
the
really
field.
I'm not really sure what's
is he on a meat
what
wheel?
That's called. No,
the wheel of meat. Okay.
He's on a mound, and Ruben Niebla is there along with a couple of other coaches, but they're working on
this is breaking stuff.
I love
Breaking
this,
news.
dude.
from
I can't wait to
Sam
see it
Levitt.
for myself in just one short week. I love it. Sammy, you're the best.
All right, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
And I will talk to you tomorrow.
All right, Sam Levitt, spring training Sammy from Peoria, Arizona. We got to take a timeout. We'll get some traffic from Kelly. And then we will be back. Last couple of segments, we still have our Reindl Report. I would like to talk more about the ball strike challenges that are coming to spring training this year, starting Friday as well. We'll get to that all coming up on 97.3 The Fan.
Well, hey, gang, it is Woodsy. It's a very easy transition there for me. Listen, I was telling you guys earlier about Extreme Roofing. Came out to the house on Friday, did a zero cost estimate. That means it didn't cost me anything to have them come out. And I love the attention to detail. Josh came out, introduced himself. First time I'd met them, man. And listen, did you have something you want to say?
Instead of a pop-up tent, you should bring an Extreme Roof.
Oh, I wonder if they have a portable Extreme Roof that I could use to keep away from potential rain.
Exactly.
Or the heat. But if your roof is leaking right now and you don't have a roofer, you need to call these guys. These guys are the best at what they do. Family-owned company, 25 years servicing San Diego. They do the job right the first time, all the time. And again, a no-cost estimate. They'll come out, take a look at it, walk around the side of your house, check out all the wood, everything that is it could be potentially wrong. And again, this is something to note. If your roof is close to 15 years or older, call them. All right? Call them now. Don't wait till your roof collapses into your kitchen, okay? Don't hesitate. Make the call today. The entire team ready to serve you at Extreme Roofing. Financing is available. Extreme Roofing is 619-334-ROOF. 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 Or go online to extremeroofs.com.
All right, Rob Manfred went through it again yesterday, and when he was talking to reporters in Arizona. But it is official, starting actually tomorrow with the first spring training game. It's the Dodgers playing the first one, and then everybody else gets underway on Friday. They will have a full ball strike challenge system this spring at every ballpark that has two teams, so including Peoria, Padres and Mariners, Glendale, Surprise, Salt River Fields, and Goodyear. So I think those 5 ballparks, any game played. So that's the majority of spring training games. You'll have a few here and there on the road where you don't have it. For the most part, you will see it during spring training. How does it work? Well, when a pitch is called, a ball or a strike, the batter, the pitcher, and the catcher all have the chance within a couple of seconds to challenge the call. If it was a ball, then the pitcher or the catcher can tap their head and instigate a challenge. It will then appear on the screen at the ballpark, like in tennis, and it'll show the box, and it'll show whether it was a strike or a ball. If it was, in fact, a ball and the challenge is unsuccessful, you will lose one of your 2 challenges. If you lose them both, you're done for the game. If you are correct, you keep the challenge, keep the 2, or if you have 1 left, keep your 1, and the call is overturned, and it switches. And same for the batter. If it's called a strike, you think it's a ball, he can tap his helmet, they do the quick check, and then, the count instead of 0-1 would be 1-0. Major League Baseball is encouraging players to use it liberally during spring training, just to get used to
it going, yeah.
Which may not be how, if it is implemented in Major League Baseball in 2026, I doubt it will be used liberally.
Correct.
You'll have to be, you definitely do not want to be without a challenge when you get to like the 8th or the 9th inning.
No
and
question.
It's a full count and the bases are loaded and there's a pitch in the dirt and the umpire goes, strike 3, and you're going, we don't have any challenges left because someone challenged a 1-0 pitch in the first
third
inning and was
yeah.
wrong about it. So you're going to have to be judicious about your use of challenges if this is the system that is adopted by Major League Baseball.
Yeah, I'm curious to see the turnaround time on it, because, again, the fact that it's 2 challenges a game now could absolutely change, right? It could absolutely change. It's different, man. It's different than in football. It's different than in other sports. You challenge something, and I think about the National Lacrosse League, Ben, where I call games for the San Diego Seals. When Patrick Merrill reaches in his pocket and he throws that red challenge flag, I realize I've got time to go get in my car, drive down to Carl's Jr., get a burger, and come back before it's actually done. Honestly, the video setup ain't great. It takes a lot to look at. Baseball's not going to work that way. It's got to be quick. You got to be on it. Do you think 3 people is too many? Do you think it should be catcher and hitter instead of all 3? What if?
The pitcher. Those are the only 3 that should have any immediate idea of whether it's right or wrong.
Wouldn't the catcher and the hitter be better, one or the other?
I feel like a pitcher has just as much instinctual knowledge of what is a strike or not. Some are going to be better at it than others.
They're so good.
I don't think the number of people challenging is going to make a difference because the challenges are fixed. The third baseman can't do it. The first baseman can't do it. It's just those 3 that are involved directly in. I will say this. The accuracy rate, the best umpires are usually about 95 to 97% accurate. The worst umpires are like 88 to 90% accurate. But that still means
still very good.
5 to 10. That's still very good, but still 5 to 10% of calls are wrong, which means pretty much every inning there's a wrong call. So how often do you think we will see these challenges? There's literally like every inning, there's at least usually 1 ball or strike ball that's off.
Tyler says, I could see managers telling the pitchers to leave it up to the catchers. 1,000%.
Yeah.
Be like, if you put your hand on your head.
The pitcher's more emotionally invested. The batter's supremely emotionally invested.
Yeah.
Because they only get the 3 or 4 at-bats a game.
Yep.
And you're down to like a 2-2 pitch, and it's a borderline strike 3. The instinct is going to be hard to challenge that if you're a batter. And I can get out of a strikeout, or maybe I can turn a strikeout into a walk.
But
with
the thing
this
is, you're still okay. Let's say you turn it, you get it out of a strikeout. Guess what? You still got 2 strikes on you.
You do,
right? And that's not a good hitter's
you
count.
Wait until say, hey, it's got to be 3-2 if you're going to do it. And you got to be confident that you're right,
But think
and it's
about
got
how
to be 3-2.
Bro, think about how a guy goes up, grinds out, a couple of balls, and it's 1-0. He grinds out a ball, it's 1-0. Then he gets that BS strike call. Now it's 1-1. Then he gets another BS strike call. Now it's 1-2. I should be sitting here at a minimum 2-1. 2-1, I'm ready to eat. I'm hunting something that I can do damage with. The reaction is to say on a close pitch on a 1-1 count, I don't want to be 1-2. I want to be 2-1. It's going to be really hard to tell these guys.
My guess is before it's implemented on the big league level, they will practice it.
Oh yeah,
like they will set pitching machines like. All right, we're going to miss it by
right
2
on
inches.
the corner.
We're going to miss it by 1 inch and see how accurate players are. And then you have a system. Like if you're 100% sure the umpire is wrong, go ahead. Doesn't matter. If you know for sure, you can challenge it just about any time. Now, if it's late in the game and we need to use it or lose it challenge, if you have like a 60% inkling, this might be an important spot. Maybe you do use it.
How about those brilliant catchers? And again, I know the old heads hate the glove down, but when you see it in motion, bro, they are stealing strike after. It's truly amazing. When we were at camp, was in the
batter
bullpen.
doesn't see that.
Batter doesn't see it. I was trying to do it as like a bit just to see what it was like. It's really hard to do. It's an art form. That's why they teach it. They're stealing so many strikes. So what if that catcher steals one and that pitcher taps his head and he's like, "No, dummy, I stole that." You know what I mean? Like there's all kinds of
if it's called a strike, the pitcher's not going to challenge it. Yeah,
called a ball, but the catcher.
Oh, you fooled
you fool
your own pitcher.
You fool your own pitcher. That's how good those guys are.
Yeah.
And so I think this is fascinating. Yeah. I mean, I think it's absolutely fascinating.
We'll be watching this closely.
It's a great conversation to have with Mike Schilt. It's a great conversation to have. Have you thought about this? Every year you got these new things you got to think about, shifts and whatever, but I think this one could be potentially pretty fun.
All right, we're going to take our final time out. Paulie's got a Reindl Report coming up next, including a big-time return to the broadcasting booth coming up here next month.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. GEGE 000466.
All right, one more time. 7 Mile Casino. It's our spot. You just hop on the 5 freeway if you're in downtown. Go south. Chula Vista, and 7 minutes later, you're peeling off, and on the west side of the freeway, you're pulling right into the parking lot. At 7 Mile Casino, you walk right in, and the tables are right in front of you.
Boom.
There. It's not big, but it's nice. It's upscale. It's a good spot to hang.
Man, the thing is like it's perfectly sized, right? It's perfectly sized. It doesn't feel like a small, dingy card room, but it also doesn't feel like a gargantuan casino that you're going to get lost
conference
in.
Rooms
right.
for the convention hall.
Correct. No. But you walk in, it's a cool place, great food, no cigarettes allowed, no smoke, no cigars, smoke-free environment.
Ballroom D, and you're right there at
you're
the
right
poker
there.
room.
Yeah, no elevators, anything like that. You just walk in and play cards and have some great lunch or breakfast or dinner. These guys do it right at 7 Mile Casino. Best part, just 7 minutes from our beloved Petco Park. So next time you're in the area, it's 7 minutes away. Check it out for yourself at 7 Mile Casino.
By Robert Half, 9 out of 10 hiring managers are having difficulty hiring. Robert Half is there to help. They're recruiting professionals utilizing award-winning AI to connect businesses with highly skilled talent. At Robert Half, they know talent. Visit roberthalf.com/talent today. We'll check traffic and then get right to our Reindl Report to wrap things up on a Wednesday here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danek.
The folks have just got to do a better job of securing whatever items they are hauling. Yeah, we got a bicycle reported in lanes. South 163 before the 52, a vehicle with a bike rack over the right shoulder trying to retrieve it. Good luck there. And a bunch of paint cans and paint on the transition. South 5 at the eastbound 8 connector ramp. Northbound side of the 805 at the northbound 15, got a collision involving a couple vehicles. That's over to the right shoulder. And southbound side of the 15 before Rancho Bernardo Road, reports of someone trying to change a tire in the HOV lane. Yeah, take it extra carefully there. Maybe move over a lane. It's safe to do so. That again is southbound 15 just before Rancho Bernardo Road. I'm Kelly Danek with Ben and Wood, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
And get things started here with our today's edition of the Reindl Report.
Now tuned into the greatest.
Welcome to the Reindl Report with Paul Reindl.
Hi, Paul.
All right.
2 stories from the world of sports that we haven't gotten to yet.
We'll start off in Major League Baseball.
And 1 story that you didn't know you needed.
Are you laughing, biatch?
It's the Reindl Report.
Hey, Paul, how you doing? Okay, how are you?
On 97.3 The Fan.
Are you ready to bless the mood? I need some help, please.
That was good.
Can I get a yeah? Oh, yeah.
All right.
All right. Good morning, my friends.
Morning.
I will start with a baseball story in just a moment. I did want to just take a second and get a little personal and let you guys know what's going on. I've kind of been quiet this morning and dealing with a lot of things behind the scenes. This morning at about 6:30, right when we went to a commercial break, I got a text from my mom. And I called her immediately. I went out in the hallway and I called her, and she was crying hysterically. Her sister, my aunt, passed away overnight.
Oh.
And
so sorry, Paul.
Yeah, it's been tough. I'm not super close with her anymore, but
Yeah.
I grew up with her and my cousin.
It's gnarly.
Anytime I mentioned my cousin, it's her mom.
Yeah.
Or his mom, and we would always hang out at their house. And just to get a call from your mom,
it's the worst.
Like that.
Yeah.
Like you're not. I don't know that it matters how old you are, whether you're a kid, a teenager, an adult, 50, 60 years old. Hearing your parents cry,
it's the worst.
Is awful. And so my mom lives like 3 hours away from her mother, who lost her daughter overnight. And my nana is in her 80s, and she's doing okay physically. A lot of surgeries and stuff. She's had a rough go.
Yeah,
and
but you get that call.
So I mean, the first thought is,
oh God,
is somebody with Nana?
Right.
You know, is she okay? So my mom's driving over to Seattle to be with her as soon as she can. I don't know what this means for me, if I have a trip to make or anything like that, figuring it out. But I told you guys right away. And,
Yeah, man.
You guys were both there for me.
Pauly
and
Soldier's on the entire show.
It's
and-
honestly, it's been a good distraction.
Yeah.
We've been a very busy morning today. And, you know, my wife was texting me like, are you okay? Like, is there anything I can do? I was like, this is actually a good distraction to kind of clear the brain.
Yeah.
But when it's been going on all morning, it's been pretty rough.
Love you, buddy. Love your love to your mom, our beloved Julie.
Julie's my mom. Yeah.
Our beloved Julie, and your Nana, of course. And can you do it for family? You really can't, can you?
Shout out to my family.
Shout out to your family, I guess.
You're the one who does it.
I
so
mean,
I guess you
yeah,
get to
you're
make
the
the
one
call.
that does
If
it.
you
It's
want
kind
you
of
can-
your call.
You can have it if you want.
I mean, it's just kind of. It's kind of the way we do things.
This is how we do it.
This is how
it's the most.
Yeah.
the most.
It's the highest.
I mean,
it's the highest honor that
we
one can
wouldn't do
get.
it if it was insulting. So.
Correct.
I really hope we can see more unity and more peace. When
when already things are so difficult. So, shout out to his family.
Shout out to your family.
Thank you, David Guetta.
Cousin Hater says, damn it. I mean, I'm just asking the question, dude.
It's a good question.
It's a fair question.
It's a fair question.
I think, you know what?
If you want to skip the Reindl Report, I'm okay with that as well.
He also hates the Reindl. This is not your day to insult the Reindl Report.
No, this is just if Charlie's not up to it or something.
No, we're good. We're good.
Okay, I'm
just wanted to fill everybody in. All right, let's get started here in Major League Baseball.
You're an idiot.
Benny teased it. Big name returning to the broadcast booth. Joe Buck is going to be calling a baseball game.
About time.
Now, he called a game, I want to say last summer. The Cardinals game, they had him in the booth with Harry Carey's son, right?
Oh, that's right. They did. Yeah, it was.
Wait,
like
I thought they were supposed to do it, and something got canceled.
I thought they did do it.
It was like the Heritage game. Yeah, it was like Chip Carey and
Joe
Buck, the grandsons of the legends.
But that was a local broadcast. He is going to be doing a national broadcast. I've been saying for a while now, ever since Joe Buck left Fox, you haven't really heard him calling baseball. He left Fox for ESPN. He does Monday Night Football with Aikman. But I'm like, look, this is nothing. Carl Ravitch is great. David Cohn's great. I like the Sunday night broadcast for the most part. But it's also like, bro, you have Joe Buck on your roster.
He's sitting out there.
Wants to call baseball games. Use him.
He's sitting out there.
So
people
ESPN
complained about Joe Buck when he was.
People are idiots.
Yeah, Joe Buck's great.
He's phenomenal.
You don't know what you have until it's gone.
That's right.
So he will be calling for ESPN on opening day, the Brewers-Yankees game. And I don't know who he's calling that game with. Oh, it says joining Buck in the booth will be Joe Girardi.
Oh, wow.
Former Yankees manager, and Bill Schroeder, the lead color analyst for the Brewers.
Okay.
So you get a little bit of both sides there.
You're going to get some Bob Uecker stories. That's a promise on that broadcast for sure. Joe Buck is he is elite at calling baseball.
Now,
elite.
Is this coming back like with more regularity, or is this a one-shot deal?
A one-off?
I believe it's just a one-off for this year. I don't know if they're going to have any other. They got their Sunday night crew, and that's kind of all that ESPN really does. I mean, they'll do a couple. They got ESPN
don't
Plus
they have
games.
Wednesday night games sometimes?
Do they have over the air? I don't know.
But they have their crew. You're right.
Eddie, not Eddie Ortega. We love Eddie Ortega.
Eduardo Perez. Yeah,
it's a tough list.
So there you go. Let's see.
Excited about that.
Did you guys? I don't know that I fully knew this whole story. Nick Castellanos. Did
he do it again?
No, he didn't do it again. Did you know he represents himself?
I had no idea. It does not surprise me even the slightest.
He was with Scott Boras. He left Scott Boras. He represents himself. He is his own agent.
I love it.
He was talking to the reporters in front of his locker. I believe this was yesterday out at Philly spring training, and here is what he had to say about representing himself.
Why did you decide to represent yourself? You were with Scott Boras before. What went into that decision?
I think that just now I probably would want the opportunity, and to say like I'm not ever going to be represented again. It's not like I'm against having an agent. I just think that where it was with Scott, I was at a point where I just wanted the opportunity to speak for myself. I have no malice towards the Boras organization at all. I texted him congrats when that Soto contract came out. He's very good at what he does, but I think that. As far as now, if anything pertains to my career, I'd rather just have that conversation with, my employer.
Yeah. What does that entail now? Because obviously you're under contract. Like, what are you doing on your own behalf? Right
well, this offseason was like, hey, these trades came out. Is this true?
Right.
I can just go to the person who would be trading it, and then when he tells me no, now I have that information.
So that wasn't like. I mean, you've known Dave a long time. Was that something you might do in a previous offseason, or is that now a function of representing yourself?
Well, I think that I'm just more comfortable now that I don't feel intimidated to go to anybody who is employing me to go and ask questions about my status or well-being, right? But when you're younger and all you know is having an agent, you can feel intimidated, or you're not supposed to go to the general manager of a team and ask a question on your behalf. You'd have to go through your legal representation to go and talk to them, because the one-on-one could be, oh, don't do that, like I'm past that point.
I like that a
Thoughtful
lot.
guy.
How crazy is that?
It's nuts, but you know what? It just
Simple, though, also.
It popped into my head that I don't feel like we use our agent enough. I feel like there should be more times, really during the week, when Adam comes in, like he did 2 minutes ago, and says we need to have a conversation about something. Talk to my agent, right? Or what am I? That's what you. Isn't that essentially what he just said? Nick Castellanos just said, you know, when you're at a certain point in your career, you feel like you have to answer everything. But we pay him. We have the same agent. We pay him. Could today's phone call be a perfect example of us saying, "Yeah, great, call our agent"? I feel like Dave Rickards.
But you also feel like
it.
you feel like you're just a big-headed star when you do that. Just call my agent.
Talk to my agent.
I don't like to be that guy who's just like, talk to my agent.
But
I want to be helpful. I want to be a team player. I want to be cooperative.
But I feel like we don't utilize him enough.
It's a good thought.
Do you feel like he earns his money?
I think the
Why didn't you answer me? Answer me.
I don't know. I mean, honestly, if he gets you
talk to my agent,
if he gets you more in your contract than you would have gotten
then
yourself, then he's already earned his money.
Correct.
Without doing a single other thing.
You think that's where it starts and stops?
Well, I mean, that's where the worth certainly is established. Now, if he's not getting you more, he better be doing a lot of other things for you.
Now, Diesel, makes a great point. What did your agent have to say about the Padres roundtable? Nothing, because we never brought it up to him. I feel like that's something I could have.
We try to be good team.
Try to be a good team player, but I think that may be something where I can just say, just talk to my agent.
I think secretly Scott Boras is relieved because Castellanos is not easy to pun with. That is a tough name to come up with a pun for. So he's probably okay with it.
All right. And then finally, we'll wrap it up with this guy's had some bad luck. This guy's going viral on the internet. So much bad luck, like a year's worth of bad luck in 60 seconds. Let me tell you about
worst day ever, yeah.
So he woke up after a long night at 8 a.m. His alarm was going off. While he was trying to turn off his alarm, he accidentally set off the emergency SOS alert on his Google phone.
I've almost done that like 1,000 times.
This made a blaring sound.
Right.
Started calling 911. He had to stop it, like make sure nobody shows up to his house.
Right.
His phone also, when the emergency siren is going off, it takes pictures.
I did not know this.
It takes pictures and sends it to your 12 emergency contacts.
In case you're being kidnapped or something.
He didn't know that was happening. He was sleeping in the nude.
He was nude.
And sent
12 wiener pics
to all of his
mom,
all 12
dad,
emergency
Aunt Betty,
contacts.
my brother, my boss. Oh, my God.
All right, Paul, I'm sorry for your loss.
Thank you, boys.
We will talk to you tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. Annie and Elston are coming up next.
Talk to my agent.
Have a great rest of your Wednesday while Woods talks to our agent.